Hi, everyone. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, everyone. I'm going to give it stuff everywhere already. Oh, no. All right, there we go. I just shut down my entire lighting. You guys, why can't I ever do a live where things just go normal? I guess that wouldn't be my live. And it's also because I still have beginner everything. I have beginner equipment, beginner lighting. How's that? There you go. Hi, everyone. Let's see who's here. Cuffy's here. Hi, Cuffy. Hi, Andrea. Hi, guys. Oh, look at Squirrel's here. Harlot. I'm so excited. All my peeps are here. Well, they're all coming in. Everybody's. How you guys doing today? Is everybody doing good? You guys want to hear the craziest thing? At midnight, I will no longer have a minor. Ava's going to be 18. It like makes me officially old, you guys. So that's that. She's so excited. She has a new car now. It's not new, but new to her. So she's all happy. She's good. Ellie and Thor just did something they weren't supposed to. Hi, Birdie. Hi, Wicket. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Lucy. Marilyn's here. Oh my gosh, I love you guys. Thank you for coming. Oh, come get your weather back. That's so funny, right? Wait, you guys, talk about getting your weather back. How about on Saturday? So her birthday's tomorrow, and then Saturday day I have my godson, my nephew, his wedding shower, and then Saturday night Ava's supposed to have like people over for her birthday and stuff, and she still is, but they're not going to have like the sleepover they plan. They're going to do like a, what do they call it, a rain check on that, because we are getting, wait, you ready for this? I had to look it up. I thought my kids were like joking. 18 to 23 inches of snow. We haven't had that much snow in over a decade. So this should be a day to remember on Saturday, and I'll be snowed in so we can chat. I'm hoping that like Monday we get off from school. That would be cool. Happy birthday to Ava. I'm going to tell her that everybody said that. She'll be happy. That'll make her happy. Hi to my moms. How is everyone? You missed the snow, Lucy. When was the last time? I don't know, because I don't know where everybody, how the weather is where everybody is. But have you ever lived where there's been snow, Lucy? How about you, Birdie? Do you live where there's snow? Marilyn, do you live where there's snow? Harlot, let me know. I'm dying to know. We get the 4 seasons here in the Philadelphia area. So I'm lucky about that. But we're like all over the news right now. They're like, Philadelphia is about to get slammed. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, your son's supposed to fly out of Philly on Sunday for business. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. AJ, my future son-in-law, he goes with his dad all the time for business everywhere, and they're supposed to fly out on Saturday, but I think they were able to get tickets to get out before it starts. I think so. So hopefully they did. And really, Thor? Oh, look, a squirrel. I'll come get your weather. You come get Thor. I'm just kidding. I love Thor. But do you guys hear him in the background? He's such a drama queen. Look, he drops his bone. Then he'll look at me because he wants me to pick up his bone. Look, he barks. He wants, Thor, get your own bone. Go ahead, you get it. You drop it, you get it. Good boy. He finally started getting it himself because I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, he'll just drop it over the side and then look at me and then bark. And I'm like, no, we're not doing this anymore. So he finally got down to get it. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Rachel. Hey, everyone. I wonder where Truth is and Barbara. Should I tell them I'm live? Since I come live last minute. I am going to start coming live more on a plan. Live if you're bored. That's what I'm going to write. I should probably do this before I go live, but if I thought about that, then I wouldn't be me, right? So, oh my God. Oh, I didn't even see Truth Exposed. When Truth Exposed comes on, I'm going to have to say something that I didn't realize. I didn't realize that you texted me. If somebody texted me, I don't know why I didn't see it. So there you go. Now all the peeps know that we're live. So we'll see what happens. You have about 10 inches total this year. Wow. You live in Idaho. You guys, it's crazy here. Like, we get snow here, don't get me wrong. But there's been twice already where it snowed, and I had no idea it was supposed to snow. So I woke up the next morning and was like, what happened? But this time, it hasn't snowed like this in over a decade. It's been that long. So, sorry, my nose is running. All right. You live in southern Maine. We always get snow. You're not a fan. Gotcha. It's always like you want what you can't have, right? I forget who it was. There was somebody here last time. Oh, it's going to bother me now. But one of our lovely members doesn't get snow, and they were supposed to get snow, and she said that if she gets snow, she was going to go play in the snow, and she was so excited, and I'm dying to know if she ever... Was it Andrea? Andrea, was it you? Homicide's here. How are you? Come on in. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Wait, let me see. I've been pimping the live out in all the places. You're the best, Cuffy. You really are. You're such a good pimp. If Sarah hears that, she's going to get mad because I call Sarah Queen Pimp. Queen Pimp. Queen Pimp shoes. Sarah wears the most pimp shoes ever. And, like, I say that loving Sarah to death. She's amazing. The shoes are not, like, I don't know. I love them, but I don't know. They're just pimpish. I love them for her. They're amazing. And she's got them in every color. They have, like, spikes on them and all. I'm like, you go, pimp shoes. So she looks like she's wearing pimp shoes. She has a white pair, though, and if you're on here, Sarah, I told her the white pair looks like, oh, my God, what's his name? Uncle Eddie from Vacation. You guys remember Uncle Eddie? I love Vacation. I watch it for everything, all the vacations. But, of course, the Wally World one is always my favorite. All right, there's people coming in now, so let me start pulling stuff up. So I kind of put together a last-minute slide. Wait, hold on. Let's see what I got here. Gotcha. Okay, well, I'm sorry if you hear me. I'm sorry I didn't get your other text till now. I think maybe I had my phone open. You know, sometimes when you have your phone open and you don't hear the text because your phone's open, that might have been what happened. All right, so I was like on such a nerd thing today. Oh, don't you dare tell me it's not going to upload. Hold on. Server error. The file must be a file PDF. It is a PowerPoint. All right, I'm just going to have to share my screen. It's not letting me upload it as a PowerPoint. But that's not a big deal. I'm just going to do it this way instead. All right, let's see. Well, maybe I can't do that. Hold on, you guys. What the heck? Again, nothing ever wants to go as planned. Let me see if part 2 comes up. Nope. All right, I'm just going to do it this way. Sorry, you guys. So as I'm waiting to do this, it'll only take a second. I just have to open it up on my laptop first, and then I can connect us to it. But usually I upload it as a PowerPoint, and because it allows you to like upload slides here. So that's why, if not, I would have had it up. But I have it up, so we're good. All right, I just have to add it on the screen. Okay, where the hell did it go? That was weird. I just had it, and I went to go hit add to screen, and it just left me. Also share system audio. Okay, we'll do that. I don't know if I should have done that, but we'll do that. Okay, here we go. Oh, we're on the stream. We're there. Look at that, yo. We did it. I told you I'd do it. Oh no, hold on. Let's see. You're supposed to not see all of my notes that tell me what I'm supposed to do. Tell me what I'm supposed to explain. Attachment first. Hold on, let me do this. Slideshow from current slide. There we go. So I have notes that I have here. Okay, so this is I have like different, I tried to get a little bit more. I noticed that the last time I started asking questions, oh, this is my Valentine's. This is like creative for me, you guys, like creative, right? So I made notes, obviously, but the last time we were on, I noticed that when I asked questions in chat that you guys were answering, like, so it seemed like, I mean, I guess I would assume that you are not going to answer if you didn't like me asking a question. So I decided to write down some questions that I could ask for the live tonight, which is what I'm grabbing right now. But I printed out all kinds of notes, everything, you guys. I am completely ready. Okay. I made PowerPoint slides. I did all of the things. Okay, here we go. All right, I just want to put this up so I say it. We are ready to go. Okay, so over here we have attachment, abandonment, and emotional dysregulation. Okay, so I want to start by, so we're talking about McKay, Michael McKay. This is the surgeon. He is, I know that he does like veins and stuff. I don't know, what would he be considered? Like I don't know what they're called. Cuff-U, what are they called? The people that work on the veins? I forget. But anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. So he's a surgeon, and he takes the life of his ex-wife, Monique, and her not new husband. They were married for almost 5 years. And he's a dentist himself. And they have 2 little kids, 4 and 1. And the little kids were not harmed as far as they were, found alive the next day, stuff like that. However, I would argue that they were harmed, right? And when I was on Daniel's the other night, Drunk Turkey Show, everybody go subscribe to Drunk Turkey if you're not already. When I was on Daniel's, I don't know if you guys noticed, I put up a short last night of, I want to show you guys real quick. My short, it's literally a short. So I think it's like 2-minute short, but I am going to show it to you. Let me tell you why. Because it kind of is like a jump off for why this live is even occurring. So what I did was, I was like, I noticed that if I make shorts, people that haven't been exposed to my work and stuff yet, that they, I can get new people by doing shorts. So I've been trying to do some shorts, and then you add the video that goes with the short, and then hoping that people will click on the video. Long story short, I had to make a short. So I had to pick a clip out of the live that I did with Daniel. And I think I picked out a clip that was like very true to me. And I want to share that with you guys because that's like the pop off for this live, if you will. So let me show you this real quick. It'll take 2 minutes. It's literally a 2-minute short. Really connect to the internet. That would just, all right, hold on. Let me make sure you guys could see. Okay, there. Oh, I'm so glad I pressed the button where it just pops up now. I don't have to I still check to make sure that you guys could see what I'm seeing, but I like that it comes up now. So with that being said, let's start off by showing you this short that I chose. I probably could have, I did have a thumbnail on top of it, but for some reason it never comes up. Like you see it in the very beginning, but for like a half a second. All right, so here we go. So wait, how do I restart? Play more. Hold on, I'm going to restart.
Gypsy Rose.
Ooh,
Gypsy Rose.
I don't know. That would just play more into the adoption thing. The adoption. Possible abandonment or attachment disruption for individuals with unresolved attachment wounds. If they perceive abandonment, even if he moves on, she didn't abandon him, they got divorced, right? But if it's perceived abandonment, in this relationship, it can reactivate early loss narratives, even if those narratives were articulated for the person so that they could think through them. So if there was any attachment issues, her leaving, especially the way she does, how she ups and leaves, that just seems like it might have amplified his emotional dysregulation. Boom. I saw that and was like, oh, damn, that was actually pretty good. And I don't know if it made sense to all of you. I hope it did. But all I was saying there is, I said to Daniel, I'm not going to be surprised. And now the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I'm doubling and tripling down on this because I feel it. I feel that this starts out for this McKee guy right at the beginning. So right from birth. So at birth, he's put up for adoption. We know that adoptions for some people, is anybody in here adopted? Have you adopted someone? If you have and you feel that you would like to share, I would love to hear, your story too. But vascular surgeon, thank you, Birdie, and Lucas Girl and everybody else. Meanwhile, the entire Kim, all of you, everybody knew what it was called except for me. Sorry. Hi, Kim, and anybody else that came in that I haven't said hi to yet. Welcome, come in, and there goes my truth. Truth exposed this year. So, okay, so when it comes to this adoption, for some people, adoption affects them in a positive way. They feel like they're special as far as their parents got to pick them. Some parents, it takes 10 years to make sure that your house is right and you're this and you're that, and make sure all the things are right before you get approved. So, I mean, people put a lot of time and effort into, you don't just adopt a kid for no reason, right? So, however, for some babies, when they are taken from their primary caretaker, usually the mother, so it could be the father too, but we believe that because the mother carries the baby, and with, just gender roles from the beginning of time, mom has breast to feed the children, so on and so forth. Taking mom away from the kids is going to have, in most cases, a negative traumatic effect, right? However, like I said, there are many people that go in to get adopted who do very well. So this isn't everybody's story, and again, I don't know that it's his story either. I'm just using what I know and my academics and my education, if you will, to predict behavior. And the best prediction of future behavior is past relevant behavior. So I took some of the themes that I saw, and the more I thought about it, the more I was like, wow, I think I'm onto something here. And I haven't heard anybody else talk about this, but I also haven't really heard anybody talk about the psychological part of this case yet. Maybe I just haven't been listening. I guess because I was doing the gypsy stuff and all, everything on my page came up was like gypsy and the Laura Mathias stuff. I didn't listen to that stuff. Oh my gosh. Anyway, that's a story for a different night. But in this case, I haven't been watching everything, but I don't think I've heard like many psychologists chime in on this. So I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity for me to really hone in on what it is that I'm saying. And what I'm seeing is early attachment wounds that may have led to later abandonment or, abandonment issues, whether real or perceived. And I think that this is important. What do I mean by this? Perception is reality, even when it's not real. I talk about that all the time. If somebody perceives these hearts to be squares, then even though most of us see hearts around the frame, if you see squares and you really you see squares, that's your reality, right? That's your perception. It doesn't mean that it's right, but it's your perception. So it's your reality. So we have to remember that when it comes to abandonment, we don't necessarily have to abandon someone, or we don't necessarily have to have been, definition, if you will, abandoned by somebody else. As long as we perceive that that's how it is, then that becomes our reality. So I think that early attachment wounds can lead to real or perceived abandonment throughout life, which can lead to emotional dysregulation. And it is my opinion that that's 100% what we see here. So I said it, that was my first time talking about the case was with Daniel. So I'm glad that I said it there. I think I was a little bit hesitant at first, but I'm glad that I did, because when I picked out that particular part as where I was going to go for my short, I then realized that that was probably a good idea. So with that being said, let me get back to my PowerPoint slide here. Here we go, slideshow from current slide. All right, there we go. So back to our slideshow with that being said, and if anybody has any questions for me, maybe put, I don't know, a couple heart emojis first. And then that's what we'll do since we're doing a Valentine's live with my, not a Valentine's live, but you know what I mean. I did like the Valentine theme tonight. So put hearts in the chat like before your question, if you have any questions, a few of them, so that I'm able to scroll through and see them better. So here we go. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Attachment, abandonment, and wait, hold on. Let me see. Where did I put? I have notes everywhere, you guys. I have to get to the right ones. That's terrible. Hold on. Here we go. Sorry. Okay, so tonight I'm using attachment theory as a lens, okay? I'm not diagnosing anyone. I know I say that all the time, but I have to make sure that I say that. And I'm not determining guilt, okay? I'm explaining how attachment wounds can shape how some adults experience rejection and loss. So again, you know, I'm using this case to discuss and teach more about attachment, abandonment, emotional dysregulation, okay? So attachment disruptions early in life don't predict violence, let me make that clear, but they can influence how abandonment is emotionally processed under stress, okay? So how abandonment is emotionally processed under stress. And again, this would be real or perceived abandonment. So let's see what happens next. So we have, oh wait, I have to go to the next one. Here we go. Sorry. Okay, on our next slide, if it goes to the next slide. There we go. Okay, our next slide, hold on, I want to make sure I didn't. I think I went too far. Hold on. Here we go. How early attachment shapes adult relationships. Is that where I'm at? Hey guys, I have adult adoption and early attachment as my notes over here, so it's just not meeting up completely. So I'm just, okay, so this is where I'm just going to go anyway. So over here, adoption, you guys, is not harmful, right? If anything, it's a loving, selfless thing to do for somebody, to adopt someone and to give them love, care, attention, affection, all of the things that we need to grow into productive members of society. But attachment theory tells us that early disruptions can create sensitivity to abandonment later on in life. And that's what I think is what we're seeing here. So for some people, early loss creates fear of being left that never fully resolves. So for example, have you ever known someone who takes breakups as personal destruction instead of sadness? So where it feels like the person is just feels like their identity is broken, if you will, as opposed to, I'm sad that this didn't work out, but I'm going to move forward. I'm going to learn what I have to out of this, you know what I mean, and do what I have to do so that I can move forward. So we have that fear of loss, and a big fear of loss. And when I say we, I'm talking about people who have early attachment wounds, and I don't have early attachment wounds, but I'm just using that wording. Because I always want to make sure that I'm being honest here. But early attachment wounds and then this perceived abandonment is going to be huge. And I think in this case, in my opinion. So let's see, what else do I have here? This person's also going to be sensitive to rejection going forward. I think that this is a good time to remind people that rejection and abandonment they're not the same thing, but they're pretty much parallel to each other, in my opinion. So rejection, so I guess what I should say is rejection is often perceived as abandonment. So rejection sensitivity is big in this particular realm. So let's keep going. So perceived abandonment versus actual abandonment. So your cognitive interpretation would be how you're thinking about this through your thought process. Okay, so and again, everybody's thought process is going to be different depending on how you grew up, your experiences, all of the things is going to depend on how you interpret these how you interpret anything in life, any of your experiences. And then emotional memory. This is a big one for me, you guys, because with emotional memory, I think that we sometimes lose sight of the fact that although our brains don't technically remember until approximately 3 years old, give or take a little bit, but at approximately 3 years old, we have infantile amnesia before that. So, and this is due to brain development, that this occurs. But we don't remember a whole lot before the age of 30. I often will see people that are like, you know what? Like, for example, with this particular case, the 4-year-old, this is terrible. The 1-year-old, thank God, is never going to remember this. And I'm like, oh, I cringe every time I hear someone say that. And let me tell you why. Although I almost feel like that's almost worse when you don't remember, why? Because your brain still interprets it. So just because you don't remember it doesn't mean that you're not affected by it, right? So, and if trauma can change the structure of our brain, then it also would change the function of our brain. So I think that it's important that although the person might not be able to remember it and say, oh, I completely remember this or that happening, their body still remembers it. So, they're going to go through life and there's going to be different triggers, different things. We talked before about how with some people, they pair sex and love together. And then later on in life, that becomes a theme for them. When we talked about Jodi Arias here, we're talking about just the, perception of rejection can be enough to trigger this abandonment wound. A threat response. So we might see a threat response as I thought I had a note here for that, but I don't. So when it comes to threat responses, this would be how we respond to other people or react. I tell people all the time, you can either respond to somebody or react to somebody. Try to respond, right? Not react. But here, when there is a threat response, the person often reacts and they often will either abandon ship altogether, because it's like, think about a relationship that starts to get close, it starts to go to the next level. Somebody with an attachment wound might end that relationship. So they're like self-sabotaging, if you will. And they might not even realize why. So it might take something like someone, a friend, a family member, a therapist, someone to make the connection for them that they are self-sabotaging so that they don't have to feel hurt at some point in the relationship. And then narrative creation. This was a big one. So with narrative creation, I talked about this in my short that I just showed us. And this just means even when somebody else, so let's take that 1-year-old right now, and I'm going to come home with a big home here. That 1-year-old right now will not remember the way that maybe the 4-year-old might. So the 4-year-old might have flashbacks of this, might remember the parents, later on, things like that. So they're going to have different experiences growing up, but nonetheless, they will both more than likely have some form of attachment wound because of this. So with that being said, real quick, before I go to the next thing, I want to come in because I want to make something real clear here. So let me say this, you guys. This is where I've been thinking and everything comes back full circle for me. And tell me what you guys think. But does he not do to the kids what happened to him? Right? Think about it. He was adopted. He was abandoned by his parents. Now these kids are abandoned and they're going to eventually need to be adopted as well. What do you guys think about that? I see it full circle, which could be why he doesn't hurt the kids, which is really effing sick, okay? Think about it. All right. Oh, I see some hearts. Hold on. So if we have a kid with autism spectrum disorder and rejection sensitivity, I'm so glad you asked this. Does that mean we need to be super mindful that breakups will be awful? Absolutely. So even for me with ADHD, I have a little bit of rejection sensitivity where I have to remind myself, like, it's okay. Not everybody's going to like you in life. Like, that's okay. But I had to learn that was okay and that this was a thing. So I think that by making it a thing for your son and letting him know this up front, if or when it happens after that, you can always go back to reminding him that this would, like, do you remember when I told you that we're going to have to be extra, um, that we're going to have to be extra mindful of this, that way the kid can't say like, oh, mom, you're just saying this because you want me to feel better, or you're just saying this. If you talk about it well beforehand, and this would just be with anything, not just with a breakup, right? I mean, with a breakup's probably going to be where we're going to see it most, um, where we're going to see the most reaction, if you will. But this happens even with friendships, right? In school, even when they play those stupid games where you have to have like two leaders and you have to pick each kid, and then there's always the kid that's left at the end that nobody picked yet. Like, so I mean, even those things can feel like really, really bad rejection, and can have an effect. So I think that that was a great question, because I think it is important to remind people that rejection sensitivity is not something that you might just see if you're adopted, right? We see this with other disorders such as autism, ADHD. And so that's why it's important to know that different symptoms will see different symptoms in different things. For example, there's anxiety and anxiety disorders, and OCD, and panic disorder, phobias. So it's one of the symptoms that are shared by all of those disorders, but there's a lot of other symptoms that makes them very different. So I think that that was a great question, and I'm so glad that you asked that, because it then made me aware that I should probably explain that. So thank you for that. Cuff You says, can you develop emotional dysregulation after a traumatic event that no one helped you through and that you felt alone as an adult? Of course. So absolutely. Absolutely. So, but with emotional dysregulation, and I have a part 2 of my slideshow that I think it'll probably be for next time or whatever, but it's all about emotional dysregulation. So it'll be interesting for you to see that particular slideshow and hear what I have to say for that. But this is the thing, you guys, we have to teach kids emotional regulation from the time they're young. We have to teach them about things like empathy, right? And with emotional regulation, this is letting them know that they have control of their emotions and their actions until you don't anymore, right? So you have total control over it until you don't anymore. When my kids were little, and I do this now, they also do it back to me, so I have to be completely honest. And when they do it back to you, at first you want to like slap them. You're like, wait a minute. But then you're like, you know what? They're right. At least I do in my head. I'm like, they're right. And then I think about it and I try to change my emotions in that moment. So let me tell you what I mean by that. When they were little, and again, I've always done this as long as they can understand emotions. And I'll never forget the one time I told Ava, she was just in like the worst mood. And I was like, oh, Mava. I was like, what did you do with my Ava? And she looked at me like, huh? And I was like, ooh, I was like, where did my Ava? And I was just like playing around. I like tickle her or whatever. And she looked at me with this like strange face. And I was like, remember I told you that we have control of our emotions? I was like, did you know if you go in your room and you spin 3 times and then shake it off, you can shake off Mava, and Mava to her was like her not being in a good mood in that moment. I was like, you could shake that off and like come back happy. That's okay. I swear to God, you guys, it was so funny. You know how we have like the little monitor things that we watch? She went in her room, she spun 3 times, shook it off, looked in the mirror. I guess it didn't work. So she spun it around again 3 times, shook it off, and this time got a huge smile and was like, and comes out and was like, hi, Ava's back. And it was so funny because for like an hour before that, she was just crying and this and that and where. And the minute I empowered her to regulate emotion, she was able to do it. So, and again, now that I only have a minor, you guys, for another, 2.5 hours. Ava's going to be 18 at midnight. And then my kids are grown. I have an 18-year-old almost and a 22-year-old. I cannot believe this. I said to my husband before he went to bed, I'm like, when you wake up, we won't have any minor children anymore. That's just bananas. Do you guys remember that happening? Any of you that have also been through that? Like, was it weird for you when your youngest turned 18? I'm kind of like not struggling like that. But I mean, like, I'm like thinking about it, like, wait, what? All right, let's see what else we have here. True story. True stories do go full circle, especially in cases where violence and child abuse are are. That's why it's so important to have therapy. Oh my God, that is so well said. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. You hit the nail on the head, Diane. Then we have, what else do we have here? Thank you guys for all coming. Oh, you're stealing that for your grandchild when you can turn around and shake it off. It's so funny too, because she literally does it, and I guess she like was still not feeling it. So she does it again, and then I'm like, I wonder what went off in her little head that like the second time she was like, it worked this time. It was so funny. She literally looked in the mirror after she took it off and went, and then I saw her do it again, and then I just saw her go, and she got like real happy and came out, and I was like, oh, that was so cute. But now she's gonna be 18. I'm so old. I'm getting so old, you guys. I can't believe it. I got pregnant with my third when my oldest boy turned 18. Mary. If I woke up tomorrow pregnant, wow, Mary, I don't even know what to say about that. Good for you. I mean, good for you. You obviously have your third child. You're probably happy about it, but I just couldn't imagine going through the whole thing and then starting all over, especially because I have a 22-year-old. So I can imagine that hopefully within the next decade, I'll be a grandma. Oh my God, I can't believe I even said that out loud. Oh my God. The Lucas Squirrel says, hush you, I refuse to be old already. I know. I don't know what's happening. I don't love it. I really don't. Every time I do these lives, I see all the wrinkles that I have now that I didn't before. I'm like, this is like not great. I need to take a drink, you guys. Hold on 1 second. Well, you don't have to hold on. I just meant hold on from not saying it. Oh. Okay. So let me just finish up about emotional dysregulation real quick, and then I'll go to the next thing. So with emotional dysregulation, I do have a note here that I wrote about that. When abandonment is felt as a threat, the nervous system goes into survival mode. That's when rumination, fixation, and rehearsal can occur. So calmness at this stage is not peace. It can be rehearsed. Okay, so let me say that again. With emotional dysregulation, and this would be in a case of abandonment. So when somebody doesn't know how to regulate emotion, that's what emotional dysregulation is. When they come to a time where they do feel abandonment, and I guess at Look a Squirrel, that's what I'm saying to you is, if you could teach your kid about emotional regulation from now, if or when, because everybody at some point gets rejected, and I think that's a part of emotional regulation and teaching emotional regulation is letting people know that everybody, so if you've never been rejected, that's amazing type thing, but at some point in life people get rejected at some point, and that we have to have tools so that we can get through that and come out stronger on the other side. So I think that is so. Oh, you just became my new bestie. Okay, Sharpie's mom, new bestie. Don't look old enough to have an 18-year-old daughter, let alone a 22-year-old. That's what I needed to hear, because these bitches on here remind me how I'm probably going through perimenopause. Okay, you know. Oh, thank you so. And you guys, I'm just kidding. I don't really think you're bitches. Just me. Thank you, just me. Just me says I'm beautiful. Birdie will be back in a few. No problem, Birdie. We'll hold your seat. Oh, so Harlot says, apparently our bodies do a whole crap load of aging at 44. So that's great. You know what, you ladies? You're killing me. See, I told you. What did I say? I said these bitches on here are making me go through menopause already. And I just went backwards. So this wasn't even forwards, which means this head bitch over here is the one that already starts talking about perimenopause. My friends, sheesh. So True says, I'd call her and be like, I guess it wasn't perimenopause nausea after all. When's the baby shower? Could you imagine? You guys, do you remember the other night? I felt like so nauseous and I had to hang up all of a sudden. I was fine after, but it was like weird. You will be 63 next week. Happy birthday. Happy almost birthday. Good for you. You know what? I look at aging as you've made it to the next year. And as many years as you make it, I feel like that's a blessing. I just don't want to get to that point yet where I'm like feeling blessed that I made it an extra year. That's all. I'm still in my 40s. It's all right. I found that out last year when I was 44. Harlot, I'm older than you. I'm 47. We're like babies in this group, I think. It's amazing. That's where we can feel young, right? Because everybody starts telling me their age to make me feel better. And I'm like, oh, I love you guys. But we have people of all different ages in our chat. And I love that. I don't know where the guys are tonight. I think we have a lot of women in here tonight, but that's okay. We have like a very well-rounded group. So let me share the next thing real quick. So I am going to share, and then we're going to see if we could find any video or update about the case as well. So let me share this on stream, and I'm almost done with this. So slideshow from current slide. Okay, so we did this, and then the narrative creation, just to like bring that back, the narrative creation is more about as we grow up. So think about these children right now that they don't have parents anymore, just like Dr. McKee, right? He doesn't have parents in his eyes. I also think that there's something to say for the fact that, and Daniel mentioned like narcissistic tendencies or narcissistic traits, personality, whatever the case may be. And of course you would have to be narcissistic to do a lot of these things that this guy did, but I hadn't really like thought about it in that sense yet because I was so stuck on things like, not stuck, but I was like focused. That's the word I'm looking for. I was like hyper focused on attachment, abandonment, and emotional dysregulation that I wasn't even thinking about the personality type. But again, the more I think about that, the more narcissistic things I see there as well. I mean, even down to him keeping the gun. And I said this during Daniel's live too, and I'm doubling down on this too. I have a feeling that he kept the gun. So we usually see that in this type of case, that the person who keeps a gun usually does so as like a memento. But I said on Daniel's live that I actually think it's probably more narcissistic than that. And he probably paid a lot of money for that gun, and that's his gun. Why would he get rid of it type thing? So that would be a very narcissistic thing to do if that does, wind up becoming the case. But I'm not going to be surprised because I have a feeling that that's where this is going. But my biggest thing here, you guys, and the reason that I think I'm now so focused on this case is because I do see that full circle. This guy did to these kids what happened to him. And if you think about it, in his thought process, even though this is dysfunctional and not true, to him, when she left as his wife and she just ups and leaves in the middle of the day while he's at work, he comes home and there's nothing there, I'm sure that reopened old abandonment wounds. And he must have felt like she abandoned him in that moment. And now he goes and abandons, he makes her abandon her own children. Not that she wants to, right? He does it forcefully by taking her life. So Sarah, when we were on Daniel, she asked me about external locus of control. I explained it there. This is just when, everything from the outside is the reason for, or the blame for everything. But we not only see this with an external locus of control, but we see this with narcissism. So I'm not sure which one we're seeing. I mean, I guess you could do both. So here, pain becomes blame, right? Responsibility shifts outward. So instead of it being my fault, it's your fault. Oh, you guys, I know what it was. I heard that a few days after this happened, the doctor, the surgeon, does a surgery, and the person that he did surgery on died yesterday. What? Could you imagine? That makes me like wonder, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Is that surprising to you? Because he does have 2 other suits that are following him. But the fact that yesterday somebody died that he did surgery on and they died from complications of the surgery, I thought that was interesting. But especially because we talked about that godlike complex that could happen. Oh wait, Sharpie's mom has a great question. Hold on, I wasn't paying attention. Let me see. See, this is why I love my mods. Hold on. Let's see, Sharpie. Where are you at? I don't know how far back is it. Does it have hearts on it? Wait, let me see. I'll find it. I'll find it. Sharpie's mom. Okay, so Sharpie's mom's only 36. Look at you. Do you think he grew up? Is this the one? Do you think he grew up knowing he was adopted? Like, are we talking open adoption or closed adoption, where he doesn't find out until adulthood? That is a great question. So this is the thing, you guys. If anybody goes through adoption in life, or decides to adopt kids of their, for their own, I think that, and this is just from my own experiences, and the things that I've studied and researched, it often is better to always be open about it. So open, not meaning open to where necessarily, you have an open adoption where you're staying in touch with the mother, which you could do that as well. They have all kinds of adoptions. But I mean open as far as being honest about it. And the reason being is you can create, and this is the narrative I was talking about. So when I talk about narratives, and if I go back one, I actually wrote narratives on here. But if we go back one, look, we have, I don't know where, here we go, narrative creation. So this is important when we think about this, right? So with narrative creation, this is important as you're a kid. Our parents help us set the narrative to our thoughts, and they help us debunk things, and they help us, with all the things. So you can create a narrative from a very young age that you were wanted so much. Like, we specifically chose you. Like, you were chosen. We wanted you so bad that, like, we chose you. So there's different ways. And I think that having support and resources, for adoption and for kids that are going through adoption, and even the parents, that they use those resources available, because it can really help later on. Now, let's say somebody decides not to tell. The problem with that is when the kid becomes a teenager, and let's say they want to find it, or that, they have questions, maybe they realize that they don't look like anybody else, or maybe somebody in the family has a certain cancer or something, so all the kids have to get tested, but this one kid isn't biologically related. So there's just so many reasons why it could come up. But I think what we find is that when you're not open about it from the beginning, it almost is like, well, if you lied to me about this, like, what else could you lie to me about? And that's the problem we see there. When it comes to this guy, I'm not really sure, and I don't know if anybody knows yet, if he knew. But from what I hear, his adoptive parents are a little bit older, and I believe he's the only child that they ever had. So there wasn't any other, children. There was no biological children. And from what we hear, he no longer speaks to them. And not because he says to his ex-girlfriend that it wasn't because they did anything wrong. He just has no reason to speak to them anymore, type thing. Like, which is just so weird, right? I don't know. That's just so weird. But I think that we're going to find this out sooner or later. Does anyone know? So Diane says, does anyone know why he was put up for adoption? And does he know who his parents were? This is such a great question. And again, I think this is important. Let me tell you why. For one, if you don't know who the parents are, the kids might go through something where they feel, they have so many questions and they want to know. But then there's another thing that kids go through. Let's say you have really good adoptive parents. You might start feeling guilt and shame for wanting to have questions or wanting to know things about your biological parents. And we see this wind up becoming an issue too. So, excuse me. So emotional regulation is just so important in all of these cases, because kids and the parents need to know, what do we do when this happens? Because it is going to happen eventually. The kid's eventually going to have questions. They're going to want to know, do you know my medical history? Do you know who my parents were? Do you know why they gave me up for adoption? All of these questions are going to come up at some point. And I think that we need to make sure that these parents are prepared with the resources that they need to make that transition as, smooth as possible. That was a great question, you guys. They were great questions. Let's see. You think he was too arrogant to throw it out, Rachel? Me too. So interesting. Oh, vascular surgery is a high risk specialty. Hi, critter watcher. So it is. It absolutely is. Um, However, this is the thing, though. He's been doing it for so many years, and this would be his third complaint. But this one's a pretty big one, and this wasn't something that had happened before. So I'm interested to see, like, was it something? Hi, Fancy. Was it something that, like, was the guy that ill? Maybe that, you know, something from the surgery went wrong, but maybe he needed that. So I don't know what the circumstances were, or was it a healthy person? Not healthy, because you probably wouldn't need this vein surgery if you were completely healthy, but healthy in the sense of, maybe other than this, you need to get, was this like routine? I don't know what type of procedure it was. Was it a more routine procedure? Was it something that was, I think it was a 10-hour surgery. It's all coming back to me now. I'm going to have to look it up right after this. Okay, so I agree. I would think so. Sharpie's mom says, I agree. I would think that a closed adoption would be linked to more with narcissism. And so I'm assuming you mean on the parents' part, like if they didn't want to know. You know who I think of even, and I guess maybe it could turn out on the kids' part too, but I think of Ted Bundy. His grandparents adopt him, but he never knows that his sister is his mom. And when he finds out, I could imagine how this must have made him feel. And I don't know how old he was. He wasn't that old, but I can't imagine how that might make someone feel, especially when your parents are supposed to be the people that you trust the most. So when you find out that they've lied about something so big, it's almost like, is everything you've ever told me a lie? And even if it's not, let's say everything they did told you was the truth, right? In life. And this was the one thing that they kept for whatever reason. Again, perception is reality. So if that person thinks that it's that way, that's how they'll interpret it. Yes, the patient died and had not left any notes about the surgery, apparently. What? My mom was adopted and didn't find out until she was 12. My grandma said, out of the blue, you're adopted, nothing else. Could you imagine? You're adopted, by the way. Like, I know my kids, like, kids do this with each other. My daughter will be like, oh, Ava, you were adopted, like kidding around. And Ava used to come to me and be like, Mom, Gianna said I'm adopted. Am I? And I'd be like, no, you're not adopted. But like, so I know that even when kids aren't adopted and their siblings try to say that just to get under their skin, that even bothers them. So then to just be like, you're adopted, nothing else at 12, your poor mother. Rachel says, my aunt is adopted. She always knew she was adopted. It was openly talked about in our family. She's bipolar and really struggles. Thank you for sharing that. My boss at one of the colleges that I work at, we're pretty close. And he has 6 children. 3 of them are his biological children, and 3 of them he adopted. He adopted siblings, which I thought was pretty cool. So 2 of them are siblings. And they know that they're adopted. And I think it's good the way that he does it because, and they all, I mean, I don't know, now that they're getting older, could some of them have different issues and questions? Absolutely. But I think that it was important for them to know that you're adopted. But I'm like, him and the one adopted kid are literally like, it's like his sidekick. Like she like loves him so much. Like she wants to go everywhere he goes, all the things. So I think that there is a way. Now, he also has a doctorate in psychology. So, I mean, I'm sure that helps. But that just means, though, that there is a way that you could do this that helps mitigate some of those negative, what's the word I'm looking for? Negative experiences or cognitions, thought processes that the child might develop as they grow up. With the narrative creation, that was what I was talking about, just so everybody knows. So how your parents form a narrative around your being adopted. The external locus of control, real quick, what I wanted to go over with this, and the reason I put this up here was Sarah had brought this up, and I put that the external locus of control is when pain becomes blame. The story becomes, this was done to me, instead of this happened and I have to cope. Okay, so the story becomes this was done to me instead of this happened and I have to cope. So this is when accountability leaves, grievances grow. Okay, so if somebody doesn't have accountability or there's many things. So when I say grievance thinking, even, I think I refer to it as an injustice filer on Daniel's show, because I talk about injustice filers, I use that term. So an injustice filer is that grievance thinking. It's somebody that is constantly, just think of it as like your brain is a filing cabinet. And every time somebody does you wrong, or every time you get cut off on the road, or every time the bank tells you like you have an overdraft, or every time, anything, it's just, you just file it in this filing cabinet. And you become an injustice filer where you're just filing all the injustices in your life. And that winds up eating away at people, first of all. But it also winds up leading to this grievance thinking that can lead to disaster, especially if the person doesn't have the ability to regulate emotion. Entitlement was another one, you guys. So, I wrote this here. This was pretty cool. I wrote, pain becomes blame, blame becomes permission. Pain becomes blame, blame becomes permission. So we have entitlement. That would be permission, right? With entitlement, we see this in many cases. There's been a few cases now that we've seen entitlement, and how entitlement can be so destructive in a young adult's life, like so destructive. Like we think, we're giving our kids everything, or we're giving them what we didn't have, or whatever the case may be, not realizing that when you don't say no to your kid, it's hard for them to hear no outside of that. And that just doesn't lead to anything good in that particular sense. So emotional dysregulation process. So I do want to go over this real quick. So calmness at this stage is not peace. It can be rehearsed. So it is my opinion that we're going to see that he had a sense of calm when all of this happened. So with the emotional dysregulation process, let me see, I have notes here. So I have, and I went over these the last time, so I won't go too much into them. I don't even need to go to my notes. So this is like a cycle that we see. So or a set of stages, if you will. So first we see rumination. Rumination is when you're just waiting, like you're sitting there focused in on everything. You're taking it all in, right? And you're just sitting there with it. So think about that injustice filer, the filing cabinet, just taking it in, taking it in, taking it in. You're just ruminating or sitting on it. Then you come to fixation. So now it goes from something that I'm thinking about all the time to something that I'm like hyper fixated on. So everything starts to revolve around this particular topic. So everything goes back to, well, if you didn't leave me, and again, this is all could be completely not true, but if it's in the person's head and the person sees it as the truth, then we have to treat it as truth for them, not that it is truth, right? But he might have had in his head, like, I would have never gotten, I'm making this up, I would have never gotten this, complaint against me if you didn't leave me. Ever since you left me, everything's gone sideways. I haven't been able to do this, or I wasn't able to do that, or da da. So, and again, I was making that up, but I was giving you an example of how somebody could become fixated and also start to blame everything on the outside, like that external locus of control. So blaming everything, like it's not my fault. My parents put me up for adoption. It's not my fault I was born. It's not my fault. Da, da, da. So it's almost like it's not my fault. I never take accountability type thing for what I do. Cognitive rehearsal, you guys, is when we just think of something over and over and over and over again. So think about, a breakup that really hurt you. You might think over and over and over something that someone said. You might replay it in your head 1,000 times. That would be an example of cognitive rehearsal. I don't know how long this cognitive rehearsal went on for him. I also want to look into it, but I don't know if it was Plunder or True Crime. Somebody said that in June of 2025, the court said that filed something, but apparently they had like there was a clerical error. I'm gonna have to look this up, you guys, but because I think this is important, because if this is the case, even if he started to move on, this could have been something that like sparks everything again. So I'm interested to see, what was this court proceeding about in June? Why did it have to do with Monique? Like, was it still from their divorce? I thought that was already done. So I'm curious to see what that was about. I don't know if anybody knows, but apparently there was supposed to be a court date. I forget when the court date was, but it was a clerical error, and the court date never comes about because of that. So I'm not sure how there was a clerical error about the divorce case. Oh, so what? Okay, so I guess I didn't understand it. So what they're saying is that, oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine the clerk that made that mistake? Yes, McKee was such a high achiever. You played sports. Um, oh, yes, he played sports and then he went to med school. He was such a high achiever. And that was one of the things that that I talked about before too, was that he overachieved in all the things that he did. And that probably came from a place of not feeling good enough and feeling like, you keep doing things to prove something that you're feeling, even though nobody wants you to prove anything, right? So it's more about what you're saying about yourself and about how you're feeling about yourself. We also have numbing here, which is a big part of this. So after cognitive rehearsal, the person might become numb to all this stuff. This could have been something that sparks him going out there and stalking. We hear that the neighbors said that they saw this guy on the front lawn or something like that. I was like, wait, what? So if that's true, then that means he's been around. And that's scary, right? That is so scary. So the next thing we talk about here, let's see. I wrote this and I didn't say this in one of my other slides, so I want to make sure that I say it now because I just saw this note. I wrote, these children did not choose this story, but they now face an attachment rupture. And think about that, you guys. I wanted to keep going back to that. Why? Because the truth is, in my heart of hearts, I really believe that this is going back to him, whether he does it consciously or not. He winds up doing to the kids what he felt was done to him. And I think that that is just horrifying. I mean, to me, that's just as bad, if not worse. So bad. Then, I hate to even say this, but when people say, thank God he didn't hurt them and stuff, like he did hurt them in such a targeted way that makes it that much more egregious, in my opinion. Okay. So I also wrote real quick that adoption for some people can be where healing begins, right? So there are so many kids that had not they been adopted by the parents that adopted them, who knows what their life could have been like in a negative way. So I do think that it's important to note that there's so many people that adopt children, like my boss, who have a very positive effect on the child's life. So I do think that's important. And the last thing I wrote that I didn't say was adoption or new caregivers done well is not a repeat of harm. It is attachment repair. Wait, what the hell did I say? Adoption or new caregivers done well is not a repeat of harm. It's attachment repair. So I think I was trying to link it back to how adoption is not bad. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want anybody to get that I was saying that, because I'm not. What I am saying though is, for some, adoption can leave attachment wounds that you might not see until later on in life reveal itself. So next thing I have over here is symbolic meaning of replacement. So with that, this is important. So he might have seen Dr. Tepe as a replacement. And Daniel brings up a good point. He said to me that he said, do you think he was jealous of him? Because like Daniel's thing was, to him, he was like the one that became a surgeon, where like almost like he sees himself above a dentist type thing. So, and I said, no, absolutely not. I don't think this was about jealousy. I think this was more about humiliation and replacement. So I wanted to make sure that and grievance. So I wanted to touch on that real quick. He must have felt replaced and therefore felt like he was erased, if you will. Oh my gosh, I wrote erasure at the end. I didn't even see that. So almost like he was erased altogether. I also know that she lived where they went to school, and I believe like in their hometown. He's the one that wound up moving outside of the state. So I'm wondering what that was about. Like, did he feel abandoned from like his place of, the state he lived in and or the school he went? I don't know. I'm curious to see though. And then we have humiliation. So by his wife leaving him, he's out working hard. He's getting his, in his head, he's doing all these things and he just comes home one day and she leaves. Like, so not only does he eventually in his head become replaced, but now he feels humiliated. So, she replaces me and now she lives happily ever after with kids. And I mean, you could just see from the pictures, I'm sorry, but when you look at the pictures, she clearly looks like she is happier than ever in every picture that I see as a Tepe. But when she's with Mickey, I don't see that in the pictures. There are a lot of pictures where she's smiling really big, but it's not the same smile that you see in the more recent pictures. And I think you guys probably know what I mean. I put here identity threat. He, at that point, do you guys remember when I said like sometimes if our identity, or I say this happens with borderline personality sometimes, and I'm not saying he's borderline, I'm just giving you an example, how when we're with somebody who we feel is like a secure base, I think he saw Monique as a secure base. She provided for him like that home base that made him feel probably secure when he didn't feel secure. She probably reminded him that he was loved and that he was worthy of being loved. And he probably had a huge part of his identity wrapped up in that, where he was a husband, he was a doctor, he was a surgeon. And by her leaving in the middle of the night after 7 months, again, not only does he feel replaced eventually and humiliated, but this also threatens his identity in so many ways. He's now not that picture perfect someone that he worked hard to show that he was, as far as he has a wife and the house and the job and the this and the that. And we see how that could be an identity, that can threaten someone's identity or their ability to understand their identity. The erasure, I already said, I went over that. Children and attachment rupture real quick. So when I said about attachment rupture, I'd actually said that. Maybe I didn't say that note until after because I was playing around with the slides. I could have just switched the slide around. So just to go back to what I said real quick about the attachment rupture, I wrote these children did not choose the story, but now they face attachment rupture. So what I mean by that is they have a loss of their caregivers now. They no longer have parents. Their biological parents are now out of the picture forever. His biological parents out of the picture forever, right? He was adopted. These kids are going to have to be adopted. I mean, he like passes on his torturous cognition and attachment wounds to these kids in a way that's just so egregious. It's almost more egregious, like I said, than harming them physically. Like I feel like it was calculated. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Where some people are like, do you think he just wanted to get out of there and he didn't even think of the kids and da da da? And no, I don't think that at all. I think that these kids now suffer the life that he had to suffer in his head. And again, he could have had a very good life. His adopted parents could have been very loving and given him but we're going by someone's thought process and perception's reality, even when it's not real. His attachment injury, I talked about this a few times already tonight, so I won't get into that too much. But again, just talking about how I have here, how do caregivers prevent abandoned narratives? I think that that's important, and it goes with attachment injury, because I think that as a primary attachment figure, your parents have an upper hand as far as helping you shape the narrative of your identity so that you don't have attachment injury later on. And I don't know if they had, I don't know anything about his adoptive parents. I want to, know more about it. I heard that they were older parents, so on and so forth. So I'm just curious to see about that. And then we have repair through caregiving. So if you have an attachment rupture, so in other words, just like him, because unfortunately Mickey fits in this category here, but so do these Tepe children now. Unfortunately, those two children now, the 1-year-old and the 4-year-old, also are in the same category as him. The good news is that if they have the right, people around them, that caregiving can help them. Now, will they probably always have some form of, attachment issues? Very possibly. I don't know that to be sure. I don't think anybody does yet. But that could very possibly be one of the things that happens because of this. But the more caregiving and support and love that they have around them, the better off they'll be, especially if that support and love is coming from family members that they're used to, so that they grew up around, that they know, people that they trust. That'll be very helpful. Okay, the last thing I have here is I put chat activity, spot the warning sign. So here goes some of the early warning sign behaviors. Stalking is a red flag, you guys. Somebody on Daniel's chat the last time was talking about how her husband every single year texts her on her birthday, even though they've been divorced for like decades. And that is that to me is like, I mean, it might not be stalking in the sense that the person's standing outside your door, but we now know that with cyber crimes, that people can stalk from across the country if they want, right? Lucy doesn't live anywhere close to here, but if she really wanted to stalk me, she could figure it out, right? So I think that stalking looks different. And Lucy, I don't think you would ever stalk. I was just using you as an example because I know you live, really far. But so my point is that you don't have to be in the same state anymore, or the same city to stalk somebody. And you can, who knows how much he watched that video, how often he watched it, how much did he, when he did watch it, what did it make him feel like in that moment? Did he feel like he was replaced or an abandoned and all those things? And then language of grievance. We need to make sure that the kids, as they get older, this goes into that narrative that we were talking about earlier, and that teach them how to not become an injustice filer, right? So that they're not living with grievance language their whole life. And then isolation's a big one. I think we see this with him. From what I've been able to see so far, he seemed like a loner in a lot of ways. And again, he might not have been a loner his whole life, but it seems like he isolated himself in the sense where he was a loner, maybe by choice type thing. But he seemed to isolate himself. One of the things that they're going to have to worry about with these children is that these children don't isolate themselves, right? So teaching them that they can trust in other relationships, and that just because this happened with their parents, it doesn't mean that this is going to happen to them again type thing. The chances of that happening are actually quite slim, which is a good thing. But if they don't believe that, then that's not going to be their reality. Then I have here healthy attachment repair. So how do we do healthy attachment repair? Because I just talked about this in another slide. So I wanted to make sure that I told you guys what I meant by that. So healthy attachment repair means consistency, safety, truth-telling, and emotional availability. And let me be honest with you guys, whether your kid has an attachment disorder or attachment wounds or any of the things, I think good parenting is consistency, safety, truth-telling, and emotional availability, right? So consistency is the key ingredient in parenting, I promise. Your kids need to know that your word is your word. Like if you say you're going to do something, you do it. Therefore, if you say you're not going to do something, you don't do it. But you have to be consistent with that. You can't sometimes she's saying it and she sticks to her word and sometimes she doesn't. It has to be consistent. And then safety, our number one job as parents is to keep our kids safe. So it's one thing to actually keep them safe. It's another thing for them to feel safe. So having kids feel safe is going to be a huge thing. One of the things that examples I give my students is like, think of the kid who's scared of monsters. And we know that monsters aren't real, but to that little kid, that monster is very real and you just don't understand. And there's some movie out there that told them, like, your parents aren't going to understand. Like, this is something that only the kids see. Like, so they'll be able to, be like, they just don't understand. But you want them to think that you understand and that you're always there and that you're keeping them safe. So I tell my students, and I always make my students laugh, but I'm like, if they tell you that they think there's a monster in the closet, like, tell them to stand outside the door and not to come in, shut the door, open the closet, start banging on things just to make it sound like bang on the door a few times, make your hair while you're doing this all crazy, like do one of these, and you know what I mean? And then go and answer the door and be like, got rid of the monster, he ain't coming back. Like something like that. That kid will look at you like, wow, you're my hero. Like, and they're going to believe that you really got rid of that monster. And that's going to make them feel safe again. So sometimes we have to meet people where they are. And that means even kids. We need to meet them where they are. Truth telling is a big one, especially when it comes to adoption. If a kid asks you if they're adopted and you just lie and you're like, no, you aren't adopted, you know what I mean? That's going to do more harm than you could possibly imagine. So telling the truth is really important, especially because you can tell the truth in a way that makes them feel validated, loved, and accepted and wanted, right? And then emotional availability is huge. It's one thing to tell your kids that you're there for them. It's another thing to be there for your kids, right? So, I'm always emotionally available to my kids. If they ever need me, if they want to talk about anything, just say the word and I'm there type thing. So you have to be emotionally available for your children. And then the circle of attachment theory, early wounds can lead to adult dysregulation, which we talked about earlier in the slide. But children's healing, right, consists of things like prevention, insight. So the more we teach people, like what we just did tonight on this live, the better we'll be. Even if this helps one person, right? It doesn't have to help everyone, but if this helps one or two people out there, then I did what I came to do. You know what I mean? How are you guys holding up over here? What's going on? It sounds like he can't emotionally connect with anyone, not even his parents. That's exactly right. And this could be from real and perceived rejection. He could have felt rejected by Monique. I know a few times they went out and they broke up and da-da-da. Who knows how that, played into this. And again, this doesn't mean that it has to be real. It just could be perceived. And that's enough for somebody, unfortunately, to feel these things. So I think that that's really important. I'm going to write in here real quick. Wait, no, that's not what I meant to do. One sec. I want to see if there's an update on the news about the person that passes away yesterday. Could you imagine? So let's see. No, I feel like this is all about the stuff that we saw. Let's see. And all right, let's see if I can get it this way. Okay, here is this it. This one talks about a medical malpractice lawsuit. Oh wait, here we go. Oh, maybe not. You guys, why can't I find it? I just was hearing about it. Good info, can relate. Well, thank you for saying that, Critter Watcher. I appreciate that. So let me show you what I'm looking at, just so you guys can see what I'm looking at, and I'm not just looking at something and not showing you. Okay, here we go. So over here, and let me just make sure you guys can see it. I think you can. Excuse me. So over here, we have, I am on MSN. I clicked on it because it said the Tepe murder case, Michael McKee named in medical malpractice lawsuit in Las Vegas. Okay, so in Columbus, Ohio, while a man accused of killing a North Columbus couple awaits extradition from Illinois to Ohio, NBC4 has also learned that he is embroiled in a civil lawsuit for medical malpractice. According to court records in Las Vegas, Nevada, Dr. Michael McKee is charged with the death of his ex-wife, Monique, Tepe and her husband Spencer, that he is among those named in the medical malpractice lawsuit that accuses Las Vegas Surgical Associates of negligence in 2023. The lawsuit alleges, this isn't the recent one, so I guess this is the older one, alleges that McKee, among others, was involved in surgical procedure in which an 8+ inch piece of plastic tubing, could you imagine? I don't even know if like parts of my legs are even that long. I don't know, that's long. Of plastic tubing was left inside a patient on July 5th, 2023. A laser treatment performed by Dr. Andrea Egtherfy was allegedly supervised by McKee, court documents say. I think that's important because when I was on Daniel's show or whatever, we asked, and I don't know if we knew the answer. So he was there because remember, I think we were saying we didn't know, Daniel didn't know if he was in the procedure or not, but this says that he was, and it says the court documents say that. So over here, Columbus man indicted in shooting death. Let's see. I wanted to get to the one. Let me see. An motion granted to serve McKee filed on January 6th was unclear if he had attained counsel. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Let's see. That's not it. Yeah, no, this wasn't what I was looking for, but I mean, I'm glad that I read that because that's important too. But I want to see, like, how can I get to that? McKee implicated in patient death. Oh no, I can do in 2026 because it happened later. So let's see. What's happening? Why can't I find it? Does anybody know where? I don't know why I can't find that. Oh, Cuff, you get a ticket. Cuff, you, I effing love you. All right, Cuff, you're the best. So here we go. Let me share this. Okay. So which one is it, Cuff, you? That just took me to here, I think. And why is Clueless up? I definitely was not watching Clueless, so that's pretty funny. Hey, let me see, Cuffy. I don't know. Maybe I went to the wrong thing. Hold on. Oh, that was for the membership. I thought you were giving me a link to the thing. I was like, because I said, where is it? Oh, that's so funny. Cuffy, I thought you were giving me a... Oh, wait, wasn't it on Discord? I think that's why I thought you were giving me a link. On January 22nd, yes. But where do we find that at? Oh, is this it? Maybe you did find it. Share this tab instead. Cuffy, you're the best. Okay, here we go. Should we play the ad or should we just read it? Let's see. Chicago doctor Michael McKee was arrested. Let's see. The couple was killed. We know that. He remains locked up. No, I don't see anything on that one either. But I know that this happened. I don't remember who I saw it with yesterday. That's annoying that I talked about it and didn't know. It's halfway down the page, mentions that they have no proof that anyone died. Oh, okay. Let me see. Let's see. McKee remains locked up around there. Is that where it's at? Police arrive back to All right, I don't see that. Let me see. I'm the worst over here. I'm sorry, Cuffy. Oh, here we go. Chicago doctor Michael McKee was arrested. Wednesday, we're learning new details about the case. NBC5 Investigates has learned that McKee was considered a disappearing doc by attorneys who filed malpractice lawsuits against him while he was working at the Las Vegas clinic. When process servers repeatedly tried to hand him the official legal papers in 2023, that's a 2023 one. Where's the new one? And then it says whatever allegedly happened in Vegas doesn't stay there. McKee then came to Chicago and moved into Lincoln Park condo, even though he was working an hour and a half away at a Catholic Network hospital in Rockford. Isn't that crazy, you guys? Didn't both doctors work like an hour and a half away? And then hospital officials are now declining to answer questions from NBC5's investigation team on Wednesday about how McKee could have been hired on when Nevada attorneys had accused him of walking out of a malpractice suit. Did I miss it? I had to have missed it somewhere. I don't know. You said it was on there, but I don't know. Yeah, it's fine because whatever. The point is, I don't know who was it. Nancy Grace? Like, who the hell was I watching? Let's see. Did Nancy have it? Let me see. Was it Nancy? Nancy, was it you? No. Okay. So, Cuffew, what I'm saying is there's a new case, Cuffew, a new one that so apparently, so I don't know if you guys even know this yet, Ben. Let me see if it was on Nancy Grace and Tepe. Okay, so let's just say. So you guys, this is a new one. So here, after this, a couple days ago, after the murders, I think it was 3 days after the murders, he did a 10-hour surgery on a patient who just died yesterday. Okay? Isn't that crazy? Crazy. So let me see if, yeah, I don't know if I'll find it here. If I find it, though, I will make sure that, oh, wait, is this it? Did I find it? Okay. So this is Miss Nancy Grace that we all love, or at least I do. I grew up with Nancy Grace. So let's watch and see what Nancy Grace has to say real quick. Oh, yeah, you guys, I forgot about that. Somebody had to amputate a testicle. Could you imagine if your ex tried to charge you for your ring and then what? Is it me or does Nancy have like the craziest way of describing stuff? I love her though. All right, let's see, Nancy. I want to go. If you guys want to watch this, just so you know, this is Nancy Grace's. Which episode is this? I'll tag this in my description after this. But monster marriage surgeons, icy threats years before killing ex-wife and new hubby. Cops is what it says. Oh, there's no sound on Nancy. Thank you for telling me that. Well, isn't that crazy? Let's try this. Tell me if you can hear it now. Hold on. Wait, I didn't put it on yet. Well, let's hit this and see what this says. All right, let's see. Tell me if you could hear it now. No sound? No sound on the clip. Oh, that's what I was asking. So it still wasn't going even though, okay, so let me try over here. All right, let me try this. Thank you guys for telling me. I'm so glad that I learned how to keep my phone over here just in case. All right, let's see. I'm going to try and fix this. Oh, it's off. How about that? That was weird. Let's try this. Let's see what happens, you guys. All right, I put the volume up. So hopefully this works. So tell me now when I put it on if you guys could hear it or not. Oh, wait, now I don't hear nothing. Wait, hold on. Now I don't hear nothing. Now I just turned it off for myself. Hold on. Oh, no, I hope I remember what I just did. Hopefully you guys could still hear me. Shoot, you guys. Hold on. What did I do? You guys, I don't even know what I just did to get it. I hope you guys, can you guys hear me? Here, wait, I clicked on this. We can still hear you. Oh, thank God. Because I had no idea what the hell I just did. Oh, I could hear it again. Wait, so if you could hear me, if I put it louder and put my mic to it, could we hear that? Let me see, because I did that last time and people could hear if I turn my mic up. Let's see if that'll fix it for now. And then I could try to play with it for later. So let me see. I'm going to put it on and I'm going to put it louder and you guys tell me if you can hear it. Were you guys able to hear that? Nothing? That's so weird. How can you guys hear me, but you couldn't hear that? You guys can't hear nothing? That is bananas. Wow. You can hear me, but not her, which makes me wonder if you guys are even listening to me through this. Hold on. I don't even know what the hell's happening. All right. Well, then maybe we're not watching Nancy Grace, which sucks because I don't know what that even means. Does anybody here? Is anybody good with know what I'm doing wrong? Here, let me see. Let me see on my stream. Maybe I have to add it as, I'm going to try this, you guys. Watch this. I'm going to add it as a video. All right. Hopefully that'll work. Hold on. There was something here. Background audio. Let's see. Please ensure. Okay. No, I don't want to do a file. I don't know why you guys can't hear it. And that just stinks because I want you to hear it. Oh, wait. What if I click on this? Stereo audio. Let me try that. Let me test speaker. Start test. Were you able to hear that? It did my right and left speakers. Were you guys able to hear that? That was goofy. A search of all available Nancy Grace content, including crime stories with Nancy Grace, shows 0 references. Gotcha. I was just looking to see what she had to say. You heard the chimes? That was funny, wasn't it? All right, can you hear Nancy now? Wait, let's see, since I just clicked that. Just out of curiosity.
Saw him, or she got a weird text or an email, and she goes, oh my stars, that's my key. Or do you think it was just a gut feeling in her bones she knew? I think.
Were you able to hear that? If not, I'll just shut her off altogether. Yes, we can hear it. You could hear it? You could hear her now? Shut up.
I think
it was a gut feeling. I treat women who are stalking victims, and often they fall into a depression. They're in a dysphoric state, and they become preoccupied with the offender. They think about them all the time. They look at out their car windows. They're sitting in a restaurant with a new partner, and they see, like, say, Nicole Brown. They see a car drive by, like a white Tahoe, and they think, oh my God, is that my ex-husband? So they live in fear. Nancy,
I wanted you guys to hear this part because this she is a psychologist. I couldn't get the word out, and she's on Nancy a lot, and I like her. She's witty and eccentric. I like her.
Gets into their brains. I bet it was in her brain, in her thought process, that she was at risk. It was always there, and that's why she was talking about it.
As we go to air tonight, extradition delayed. What's going on? Is he some sort of a security threat? Why can't we get him to home turf to get this trial ball rolling?
So apparently, you guys, he's still fighting extradition. Heather says, the Facebook article says that Mickey didn't write a post-op note, and that day or 2 days later, a note was added, but by a different person and not McKee. Then he passes away. See? Oh, you watched her with Top Mom, Heather? Me too.
And get the show on the road. At this time, we know the state is building its case.
Oh, she's funny with that guy. I watched this.
Coin.
Wait, you guys. So, all right. The next guy she has on, that guy that was a lawyer, he'll be on again. She just goes over little things with him. If you guys want to see this whole episode, please go watch it. But this next guy, he's so interesting.
The shootings after 3 a.m. and cops didn't break in. Well, actually, friends had to get in the home until hours and hours later, well after 9 a.m. Would the blood have coagulated? Would the bodies have gotten cold? Because I believe the children were in there with their parents' dead bodies.
Horrible, horrible. Yeah, I mean, number one, just coming upon the bodies, and depending upon where they were shot, but there would have been a considerable amount of bleeding, especially even from a head wound or a wound to the chest.
So trigger warning. He's a medical examiner, and just trigger warning.
Their clothing may have been soaked in blood. Where they were lying, for instance, if they were in the bedroom, the bed sheets may have been soaked in blood. And depending upon where they were shot, if there was an angled shot that sort of hit the head, there could have been a tearing of the scalp tissue. So it could have been quite horrific and gruesome.
That's horrible.
For children to see their parents in that state.
Tell me about what you would expect to see around a scene where the husband had been shot twice in the chest with a 9mm and the wife shot once, we also believe, in the chest. Would there have been, well, we also know another fact. When the friend came in and saw...
Did you guys hear what he said about the scalp might have been starting to detach? Could you imagine? I hope to God that 4-year-old did not see. I heard that the 1-year-old was in a crib and couldn't get out of the crib, and that's probably who was most likely screaming, that they heard a baby crying. I just hope that 4-year-old did not have to see that.
The dentist's dead body. He said he was half on, half off the bed, or beside the bed. Would that blood have already coagulated in, say, 6 hours? Would the bodies already be cold? It's freezing cold outside and snowing, but the ambient temperature in the room, probably 68, 69, or 70.
The bodies would have started, had they been shot hours prior, the body temperature would have started to acclimate towards that of the home. And they certainly would have probably still had some rigor present, and the body a little stiff. The blood would have settled.
Slow down.
They go on to describe rigor here, you guys. So again, trigger warning.
Dr. Coyne, rigor.
Sure.
You mean when the children come upon their mom and they try to touch her or hold her, she's already in rigor mortis.
Yes. So her body would have been stiff to cold and probably stiff to touch. Her arms and her legs may have been rigid. And there probably was also livor mortis, which is the settling of the blood based upon gravity. So you'll see pinkish or purple discoloration of the
And Casey, I agree with you. She looks radiant in all these.
body on the bottom where it's lying. And so they probably would have encountered that upon seeing the two victims. The blood also, would have started to coagulate. If it sits for quite a long period of time, you can also see separation of the cellular component from the liquid component. So we call it serum. So you may see a little separation of that as well. But if it's soaked into the bed sheets, it would have just looked all red.
Just thinking about what those children saw and experienced. When you say both mom and dad would be in full rigor, unless you've seen it, it's hard to explain. The only way I've explained it to a jury is that, a 2x4, right? You've
Sure.
been around lumber, right, doctor? Okay.
Well, this is
Absolutely.
It's just like that. If you try to touch the mom, her arm is like a 2x4. It's that hard. It's that stiff.
That's stiff, and you can't bend it. It's almost immobile. And so for the child who's going up to the parents hoping to feel a warm body, it would probably feel horrible. I mean, just cold and very stiff.
Could you imagine having to live with that? I don't even have words for that. But then the psychiatrist comes on again.
Non-responsive.
Dr. Bethany, I don't know how a child, 2 children under the age of 4,
Oh, he is in Ohio. Okay, thank you for telling me that, Case.
they thought that they were seeing. But I can tell you this, I don't care what all the shrinks say, children remember long before 3 years old. I have memories as early as 2 years old that I can identify. I think my daughter has memories before that.
So Heather looked it up and said that he found that Heather said, I just looked into it, and the news article said that he waived his right for an extradition hearing. So that's good. He's back, Cuffy says, and Casey. So he is back now.
What? How will
Wait,
they remember
look at this.
that? Well,
Okay, this is like a side note, but I love looking at their makeup and stuff and the eyebrows and everything. It's just everything. I can't.
will they suppress it? Will it come back in dreams? Will it affect their personalities for the rest of their lives?
It'll come
Casey, I
back
thought
in
that too.
so many forms, Nancy. It could come back, as I've said before, at a pre-conscious, pre-verbal level, meaning they have the sensation of seeing a traumatic scene.
What I want you guys to listen to here is what Dr. Bethany Marshall is about to describe. I want you guys to think about what I was saying earlier. This all could fit for McKee as well. And that's what my point is that he pretty much just put his, almost like, I think of like somebody like passing on an evil type spell. I don't know, like where he's like, all right, I hand this off to you now. And it's almost like now you're going to have to, and again, I mean metaphorically, but like now you're going to have to live with that. But let's hear what she has to say.
But they can't really put it into words. They could be walking down the street someday and see somebody walk in front of a car and have a flashback and think, oh my God, that car's going to hit that person. They could become people who refuse to form attachments because this premature loss of the parent makes them too terrified of abandonment. It's going to affect them on all levels.
I didn't even realize that she said about abandonment and attachment. So look at that. I feel so validated.
It could predispose them to personality disorders, to drug abuse, to alcoholism. This will have a traumatic effect. The best thing that can happen for these children is to go into a new family where there are predictable and safe attachment systems, so they can
They're
kind
with their
of
relatives now, Dr. Bethany.
That's good.
The two children
They need
are
to
with
be with their
relatives. And I
relatives.
think the dog is a golden doodle, and it is also with the children. Hey, Dr. Cole.
You guys, Cuff, you posted the link to the documents for the extradition law. Thank you so much, Cuff. You.
Let me ask you a question. I was
Oh,
thinking
look at
about
those
what the
little
children would have
shoes.
experienced. And I was out jogging the other night, and I smelled a smell.
So she goes into how she smelled a smell about her mom. It reminded of her mom who passed away. And she just talks about how these kids, and it was like a little bit, but she talks about how these kids are going to remember any smells that they could have smelled, even if they don't have that, experience or smell again for decades to come, but how it takes you right back there. And the thing that I always think about is, like, think of if you've ever been somewhere, or like on a vacation, let's say whatever, you bring to your vacation, whatever scent you bring, let's say you don't smell that scent again for a few years, but you're cleaning out your desk and stuff and you come across it and you smell it, your brain's going to think right back to that vacation that you had. Those memories are going to form even stronger because they are including one of your senses. So I think what she's saying here is, if these little kids smelled anything, that this is something that might stick with them forever, which is a horrifying thought.
The smell of a decomposing body or the smell of blood coagulating. I'm happy for you. But okay, since that's a no from you, let me go to Bethany. Bethany, just like the other night when I was jogging and I smelled that fresh plant smell, I thought of my grandmother. I was thinking about something completely different. And then I'm just thinking about these children going through life, and then they smell a smell, and it smells like, oh, here's another one. I can't stand to smell chrysanthemums. Because
it reminds her of her
funeral,
fiance.
It was like hit me in.
I'm sorry, Nancy,
Let
I love
people
you.
think about that trip. So
Here, let's go further.
First, on Fox evidence, and they were observed lugging box after box after box out of vascular surgeon Dr. McKee's penthouse apartment there at Lincoln Park. Straight out to a special guest joining us tonight, Koa Lorimore. Thank you for being with us. Former Army sniper, sharpshooter. I want to talk to you about the weapons. That's
pretty badass. He's like young as hell. He's like a former sniper, shooter, Army, this, that. Like, I was like, damn. But Cuff You, after this, I'll click on it and look at it. So apparently the link goes to his new booking photo. Oh, he has court tomorrow?
Police Chief Elaine Bryant said
it's your daughter's 13th birthday tomorrow? It's my daughter's 18th birthday.
There was a preliminary match from evidence found in the home, i.e. the gun. I don't know where they found it, in the home, in the car. Doesn't matter for your purposes. But they've got a match to the bullets fired at the scene. Were they lodged in the body? Did they ricochet off the wall? Were they stuck in the wall? Were they stuck in the mattress? Were they stuck in the floor? Doesn't matter. They're saying they've got a match. Now, before I get to you about how that match is deduced, I want to talk to you about how difficult would it be for the killer to engrave or write on the bullets. Now, you see, I didn't think about that before the devil kicked Luigi Mangione into my life, who wrote, let's see, deny, delay, depose. He actually took the time to write that on the bullet that he used to shoot the United Health.
I don't know why they go into this. I think this is why the other night when I was on DT show, I asked them about like writing. She goes into writing of a bullet here. Now it's all coming back to me. But I want to just make sure I go over a few things real quick. So, yes, Lucy, he looks like a teen for sure. But then Diane says, what is his purpose for the full circle? Who is he trying to tell what happened to him? I don't know that he's trying to tell anybody anything. I don't know how much. I mean, I don't know because I haven't talked to him, obviously. So I'm just basing off of my speculation off of my education and human behavior. So I would say that I don't think that it's about telling us or telling other people about a story. I think if anything, it's his way of feeling like he levels the playing field in a sense that, wait, hold on. My daughter just asked me something. If he gets delivered to the door soon. Wait, what? Okay. Oh, my daughter's girlfriend just said if something gets delivered to the door before midnight, not to go get it. I was so confused, but she put like all these big stars, so I wanted to read it just to make sure. Oh, that's so cute, you guys. Oh, young love. Okay, so this is what I was saying. So I don't know that it's really about telling other people more so than it's his way of leveling the playing field. Almost like I think, and again, this is my opinion, that these attachment wounds got opened again when, or not again, but were open when Monique leaves him, especially because she does so while he's at work. She just up and leaves in the middle of the day. He says that he had no idea and he was heartbroken, da 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 da. And she doesn't take him back, right? She eventually moves on, replaces him in his eyes, even if it's not replacement, right? Even if she just falls in love with someone else, it doesn't mean that you're replaced. It's not about replacement for her, but for him it is. So I think this was his way of bringing his pain back to the person that he thought was causing him pain. So I genuinely believe that he thought that by killing these parents he would feel better, or that he would, and I don't think that that's what happens. I don't know, because I haven't talked to him, but I think that this is more about leveling the playing field, even if it's not completely conscious. So I'm going to skip over this part because they talk about that, what I was talking about before about the bullet thing, but I don't know that I even want to get into that because I don't know where Nancy is. Like, I don't know if she's speculating here, so I'm just going to skip that part for now.
Now, let me ask you this, Koa. What if we learn the defendant, the surgeon, Dr. McKee, created his own ammunition? Yes, people actually do that. How do you create your own ammunition? And to me, and I'm going to get to Kessler on this, that would leave a trail a mile wide.
So here she's talking about, she asks him if he could tell her how somebody could make homemade bullets. So he just goes in to tell her how somebody could do that. Again, I don't know why Nancy thinks that maybe that might be the case, so maybe it's something we're going to hear about.
Swagging process. And, the reason I'm asking about this, hold on, Koa Laura Moore, to Dr. Bethany Marshall, a psychoanalyst joining us out of LA at drbethanymarshall.com. Dr. Bethany, he spent practically 10 years, 8 years plus, thinking about her.
That
and
is
something
grandma.
pushed him over the edge. It could have been these lawsuits where one guy lost and the other had a shard of a catheter stuck in his leg, which caused, according to him, disfigurement. And then when they tried to sue surgeon Dr. McKee, he ghosted everyone and vanished. Even the process server couldn't find him.
Yeah, there you go.
And, they make money when they finally serve you the papers. So he was trying to find him, and he totally disappeared. That said, that could have triggered it. But all these years, he has been watching her. And I could just see him hunched over a table with one of these machines, making his own bullets and engraving them out of hatred.
Nancy.
So again, you guys, I don't know where this thought came from, if it's speculation. Like, I couldn't figure out even afterwards why Nancy would even, but I don't know that, like, do you guys know Nancy to, like, bring something up that maybe, oh, Harlot, I was laughing because you said, what did you say? You said something funny. You said, oh my God, what did you say, Harlot? Oh my God, I don't even know what I just, there was something, wait, I know what you're talking about. I don't think, no, that's not it. Wait, what the hell did I think I just read? It might have been back, like, way further, Harlot. I can't remember what you said, but you said something funny. But my chat was back really far, and I just went to go scroll back. But whatever it was funny, and I laughed. So thank you for the laugh.
Almost 50% of all stalking happens during the course of a marriage, not necessarily afterwards. So this stalking behavior probably started from the first date, first of all. Secondly, there's going to be a lot of
Look at him. Doesn't he look so different, you guys? He looks so different to me. Which, I mean, what does that say, right? Like, I feel like, does anybody think that, like, doesn't he look like a lot buffer now? And does anybody think he could have, like, and again, this, I don't even want to put that out there, so maybe I shouldn't even say that. But what are things that would make him look, like, so drastically different?
Behavioral evidence, he probably
oh my
made
God,
many
look at him there.
attempts
He looks different there, too.
Contact her. So there's
There you
going
go.
to be...
Look at him there. He looks like he's got more of a square head here. You know what I think of, and I'm not even trying to make fun of him? What's that game that all the kids play, the roadblocks or whatever, and they have the one game and it's like Dress to Impress? I love playing that game with them. But the only thing I don't like is that all the people have like marshmallow heads. It's the weirdest thing. But that's what I think of when I looked at him. I don't know why. I thought of the roadblocks, the Dress to Impress game, and the marshmallow head.
Emails, letters, snail mail. I think we're going to find all sorts of things. And in terms of the risk factors for violence, why now? What
Right,
pushed
Heather?
him over the edge? Usually a demotion in
Roy,
stature.
somebody said it for me. So, does anybody think that there could have been stuff? Like, look at his face here, you guys. Look how handsome he was. But he was also like thin, right? When we see him later on, he's not thin like that anymore. I mean, he's not big, but he's not thin. He looks very like, he looks like he works out.
And rejection. So the fact that he was potentially had a lawsuit against him
Wow.
made him feel humiliated.
At risk of.
Oh, there you go. I was talking about how the ex-wife might have made him feel humiliated. I wasn't even thinking that is also another form of humiliation, would be these lawsuits. So now there might be a third one. So it's like that would also be humiliation, even though doctors get malpractice insurance because sometimes things happen. Like sometimes they really, they didn't have any malice. They just, something happens. So, but we're not talking about reality. We're talking about someone's perception. So all he has to do is perceive it as humiliation.
Randy Kelser objection, claiming asked and answered. I always love that objection at trial. But let me, instead of asking the same thing, Dr. Bethany, refine my question. Let me refine my question. In other words, ask it in another way. Dr. Bethany, you know how stalkers and freaks, they get enjoyment.
Oh no, what's she gonna say, you guys? I'm scared.
From the process of the stalking. I think it makes them feel closer to the target, their victim. Like writing them letters. They take great pains to write the letter.
Ooh. Thank you, Truth. Truth has been, here look, Truth, I'll do a little dance. Truth has been a member for 7 months. I can't believe Truth is my very first member, you guys, ever. My very first member, and I'm so glad I fixed it. I don't know if you guys remember, but the last time it wasn't doing the dance, so I'm glad that I fixed it because it went on so do. Thank you, Truth, for being a member for the longest. You're the best. I love you to pieces. All right, Nancy, let's see what's going on.
And sneak up and leave it there or mail it. They get some enjoyment from that. So what would he have derived from making his own bullets, if he did, with the die set? What joy would he get from that?
Well, think about kill kits. When serial killers assemble the kit in preparation for finding victims, the enjoyment he would have gotten is complete and utter power over her, looking at the fear in her eyes, blotting her off the face of the earth so he doesn't have to think about her anymore, potentially killing her husband in front of her while she's still alive, so he shows her who's really the boss in this situation. And I think more importantly, a reversal of power. He imagines she has power over him because she's moved on, but he's going to try to assert power over her.
I can't agree with this more, you guys, and I've talked about this, but I like how she just said it here. So he perceives her as having more power because she moves on and she's happy, you guys. She has children. I mean, who knows? They could have, when you get married, people talk about if they're going to have children all the time. So, ooh, what's this? Yes, who's been a member for a month? Casey? Casey, I'm going to dance for you too, even though I'm just going to leave on my thing so that if I hear anything, I can dance. But Casey, here you go. Woo! Woo! Thank you, Casey, for being a member for a month. It seems like it's been longer than a month. It does seem like it's been longer than a month, but whatever. Thank you. I appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed already, hopefully I make the cut and you'll subscribe now. So thank you, you guys. I really do appreciate you. I'm nothing without you guys.
Power dynamic. In my field, we call it triumphing over the love object. He's triumphing over her every time he engraves that bullet.
Dr. Bethany, I'm going back to Coalorimor right now with bullet questions, but I want you to think about something. You know how people, when they're dating,
Critter Watcher, if you're saying about with Nancy, right? Like that's why I skipped over those parts. Like I'm sorry that I didn't skip over that part, but that's why I skipped over those parts because I'm not, even after I heard it, I tried to go back and find like where, like did she say like you know, somebody says that, like nothing. So I'm like, where did that come from with the engraved bullets and stuff? Which is why I asked Daniel that night on the Drunk Turkey. I asked if he had heard that because I heard it on Nancy Grace, but that's how rumors get started, right? Like I then bring it to his show and say, you know, Daniel, and so then whoever's listening to the show there, like then that gets passed on, and it's like I just hope that there isn't just like when I speculate about something, I not only tell you guys that this is, and again, I try not to speculate. What I try to do instead is I try to say when we see these types of patterns or when I see these types of patterns, this is what I usually see next type things, or like this is what I usually see that it derived from. And then, so that's what I mean when I say speculation and stuff, because I really don't know this person. But the thing is that most of the time, if I just apply the things that I've been taught, I'm usually right about it. And I'm not like being conceited. I'm just saying, just in this one area, there's a ton of other areas that I don't get it right. But in this one area, I do have a knack, but a part of it is trusting the process and trusting all the research that I study. So I give it up to all those researchers. But with that being said, this was a little different in that, like, I'm talking about attachment and stuff, like things that still have to do with psychology, like starting to talk about, like, was there engraved bullets that, and it wasn't just an engraved bullet, it was an engraved bullet that he made on his own. I was like, I don't know where that came from. So that's why I skipped over it, you guys.
dating, they get ready for the date. Like the woman does her hair, puts on makeup, the man goes wash the car.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry I stopped this again, but I just saw Cuff You said Fact Fairy. I literally peed my pants the other night laughing because we were talking about something and we weren't like saying anything bad, but we were saying like we just did the gypsy thing, and I was like I'm on the truth train with everybody, and she goes I'm on the Fact Fairy, and I'm like, did you just make that up? And I just started laughing so hard. So that was funny that you just heard that.
This is stereotypical, of course, and gets all ready, maybe buys flowers. It's all in anticipation of those few hours that they have a date. Just imagine him getting the bullets, getting the gun, driving all the way down.
Wait, we cannot see you dancing. What do you mean? I thought I had my thing on. We cannot see you dancing. Oh, I turned it back on and started dancing again, but I have my thing on now just in case I need it. It's already on, so I won't have to do that anymore. So if I have to dance right in the moment, like if Cuff You sends the next one that she's been for, Cuff You should be 6 or 7 months. So should Harlot, right? And it would look as like a lot of you like have been around forever. I couldn't have asked for a better group of people. Like I appreciate each and every one of you, even all of our new people, and everybody that subs. Like I appreciate everyone.
On the Ohio Turnpike, going through the 24 tolls to get there.
Oh, I'm at the very top of the screen if you don't see me.
Of the moment he pulls the trigger and sees her face and her fear. I want to talk about that process. Coalorimor joining us. Okay, so we're talking about the
Yes, Cuff You. Cuff You, you didn't have to do that. Thank you so much. Test for dancing reaction. Test. Did you like that one? Was that good? I even gave you that old thing. My daughters laugh at me all the time. They're like, Mom, you dance like a cheerleader. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, why would you even say that? I was a cheerleader my whole life. And they're like, you could tell. And they say that when I dance, I'm like way too stiff. So I'll dance and I'll be like, and they're like, Mom, like, just chill a little bit. Like, my daughters are, like, all smooth and stuff. And I'm like, and we laugh at me. So whatever. I was like, I was a competitive cheerleader for years. So you just can't take the cheerleader out of somebody, I guess. I don't know. But I love dancing and singing. So I like to have fun. Thank you, Cuff You. You have no idea how much I appreciate you. Oh wait, I didn't highlight it. I thought I highlighted it. I have to highlight it, Cuffio. Let's highlight it. And then we'll hear more. Nancy. Oh my gosh, how far back is my chat? Thank God I have my chat on. I have like a different chat on, but my one on here was way back. Cuff you, I love you, it rhymes.
Bullets. And if he did create his own bullets, there's going to be evidence. There's going to be a die set. There's going to be the material needed to make the bullet, the outside, the inside, the process requires a lot of, let me just say, material.
We're skipping that.
That is
because he was thinking things out.
All right, let's see what this one said.
Double homicide. So
0344, toll free, or just go online and visit americanfinancing.net/Nancy, and good luck.
a source has come out and stated that Dr. Michael McKee right here worked a full shift on Monday, December 29th, 2025, and then had a cot reserved for him at the hospital to spend the night. This was the evening before into the morning of the Tepe's double homicide. So essentially, Dr. Michael McKee had planned to stay overnight at the hospital instead of going home the night that he committed these crimes. And this may be part of the reason why authorities are saying that this was a premeditated, planned attack, because he was thinking things out.
What do you guys think about that? I think that that is exactly what happened. So what they're saying here is that he purposely, now this is the thing though, right? He did do these surgeries at night. So I'm sure if you're doing a 10-hour surgery and you have another 10-hour surgery scheduled in 8 hours, why would you go home, right? Especially if you live an hour and a half away. So I'm assuming that he slept at the hospital, you know, not often, but regularly, meaning that it wasn't something that he didn't do. So, and I think that that's why he thought that it would work, because Daniel told me too that he left his phone on the cot at the hospital so that it wouldn't be able to be tracked type thing. So that says to me, you guys, I didn't even think about this. That says to me that either he has another form of tablet, phone, something for directions, or he knows how to get there without the directions. What do you guys think? I haven't heard anybody talk about that. I didn't even think about it till just now. But if he left his phone on the cot, then, I mean, maybe he had a GPS. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm dying to know what you think.
Are like wildfire online. That is from @MattThibodeau at TikTok. And keep thinking, citizen sleuths, you are welcome here with all of your theories, be they crazy or that was not that crazy, is it? Actually, that's a good theory. Was it premeditated? Obviously, he had hours long to drive. At this moment,
Me too,
tonight,
Fancy.
extradition has been delayed. Is he a security risk? In the meantime, during our last live chat, during the airing of our program, a viewer noticed this. Do not discount any evidence as being insignificant. Let's see. Okay, watch him walk. He pulls to the right.
Oh yeah, you guys pay attention to this. If you do have like a visual, if you're not just listening, I want you to like stop even in chat or whatever real quick if you can and just look at this. So what Nancy does here is and I don't think like she claims to be the person that noticed this or whatever, but she was like, this is a good theory. So I want you to watch. So she points out that he like pulls to the right in his gate and then switches over to that video of the person walking outside. So watch this and tell me what you think.
As being insignificant. Let's see. Okay, watch him walk. He pulls to the right. One more time in the courtroom video. He pulls to the right when he walks. To the right. There he goes. And stands. Goes to the right. Now, that's from WBNS 10 TV, our friends there. Now, let's look at the video. Look, to the right. He pulls to the right on every step. Let me see that one more time. Okay, straight out to
Do you guys
Randy
see that?
Kessler, veteran trial lawyer, joining us out of the Atlanta.
I don't know that I saw that. I seen more of like the toe go up, which is a little weird. The toe go. I don't know. I guess. I don't know. I think I thought it was gonna look more. I don't know, but I think she shows it again.
Of the jury. You know, that lawyer could have put him on the stand while the jury was out of the room and not seen him walk. He could have been sitting up there when the jury came in. I was just praying they wouldn't do that. The jury looked over the rail and saw him walking slew-footed, just like the bank robber walked in. Think just like this. Did you see this guy?
She's talking about when she prosecuted a guy before that they put him on the stand, and she was hoping that they didn't. Apparently, you can have the person already at the sworn in before the jury comes in. But she's like, I'm so glad they didn't do that, because the guy in the video walked like a duck, and when this defendant walks up to the thing, he apparently walked like a duck, and that like tipped the jury into believing it was him.
Did you see Dr. McKee walking, pulling to the right every time?
Yeah, I mean, you never know what's going to tilt the jury or persuade the jury. Hopefully they've got a lot more evidence than just the way he walks, but it doesn't hurt to have that in there. And certainly, video cameras being everywhere, video cameras being in the courtroom.
Could he be walking like that though over here because he's like chained? I don't know about this theory here.
Helpful. It's all, adding on to the prosecution's case. I represent a lot of men, controlling men, that my advice is don't go to court. You know why? Because then all of a sudden your wife is just as equal to you, and the court will make you do something. Maybe not make you pay as much as you want. That's hard for a lot of powerful men and women to understand, that the relationship they've been controlling is all of a sudden changed, where they are no longer the superior in the relationship. And who knows if that's what clicked for him or triggered it, as we were talking about.
All right, we're going to skip to this part. And yes, DT did point out about the limp. He absolutely did.
Dr. Bethany, you can verbalize this to Kessler and maybe make some sense and get into that head. You explain the significance of this.
Oh, well, Case.
Well, I see it as congratulatory, self-congratulatory. So he's been obsessing all these years about getting rid of her. We call it catathymic homicide. That's when there's a compulsion to kill, and it creates a horrible tension internally. And when the criminal finally works up the courage to do it, they're quite relieved afterwards. They're very satisfied with themselves.
You guys, I didn't get to see the end of this. You guys remember on DT show I said that I said it here tonight too, that it's not uncommon for this personality type to feel calm. And a big part of this is just anybody that's a psychologist should probably know this. So I don't think that that's any, now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, that's not really anything that special. But a lot of times we tend to put ourselves in a situation because we're trying to have empathy or because we're trying to experience something or think like somebody else. The thing is, when we do that, we have to remember to change our thinking to the way that person might be thinking. So when you do that, what happens is, and that's how I think I do a good job with this, I put my emotions and my, everything into the way that they would do it, not the way that I would do it, because I wish I could do that in my real life. God, that would just make things so much easier. But at least I could do it here. So what winds up happening is when I did that, I'm like, wait a minute, he probably has a smaller amygdala than the rest of us, and the amygdala is the part of the brain that houses our emotion. And when somebody has that, or a personality disorder, or both, whatever, with the personality disorder, we usually see the smaller amygdala with this one. But this person isn't driven by anxiety. Think of like Ted Bundy talking to the cops and then letting them go type thing, because nobody thought anything of it. Or BTK was, people felt safe around him because he was a security guard at work. Like, what? After you find out what he really was doing. So, again, it's perception, right? Perception's reality, even when it's not real.
He, as I said earlier, he triumphed over here. He got his way. Now his world is all in perfect order. It's not like somebody who commits vehicular homicide by mistake, and afterwards they're rattled and they're shaken and they can't believe that they hit somebody. This guy is quite
Wait. I have no idea why I did that. Sorry, you guys. My bad.
You know, he's dancing on her grave.
Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter, why did the ATF arrest him?
Oh no, what
It came
happened?
down to a lie. Dr. Michael McKee lied on a federal form.
That's weird. It like took the thing off. So I guess we're done watching that. It was at the end anyway, but we're done watching that. It was like, you're not allowed to watch that anymore. So I'm going to look up this picture real quick. So let's look up pics of antisocial. All right, let's see if we get anything here. And I'm going to share this with you. Let me see if make sure it comes up for you. Show on stream. Why isn't it showing you guys? What's going on? What's that happening? Well, that stinks. Thanks, Streamlabs. That was mighty nice of you. Okay, so maybe I'm not showing it. Maybe if I stop it, like I'll stop the hide on stream, so I'll bring me back. I have no idea, but I'll try it in a minute, I guess. How's everybody doing out there? What time is it? 11:23. I have to make sure I'm off and upstairs by midnight so that I can sing happy birthday to my baby who's now going to be 18. You guys, I can't believe I only have, I have 37 minutes left of being the mom of a minor. Right? I might as well just go through menopause. You know? The heck. Alright, let me see if it'll allow me to do it now. No, still not going to let me. I wonder if it'll let me show other things or if it's just that. Let's see. I'm going to X that out. And then I'm going to hit. Let's see if it lets me share this. Oh, it did. Good. Okay, so maybe we just had to refresh. So I put in pics of antisocial males. I don't even know what I was thinking, but I was just going to see if we could find anything here. That's so funny because look, this one, we have 4 whites, but I don't know if that could just be a stock image type thing, right? Oh, come on. I wasn't looking for stock images. How about I put in cereal? Hold on. All right, let's see. Oh wait, let's look at the lineup over here. How do we see that bigger? Oh no, go back. Over here, Ted, you can see his here. You can see it here. You don't see it on all of them, so maybe it's not. Let's see. Oh, you can see it here. He's got the white all the way around. Who else do we have here? I don't know who that person was. Oh look, he's got the 3 whites. See, you guys? We got the 3 whites again there, but that might have been... Oh look, she's got it. Eileen had it. He's got it. Look, this woman has it. Eileen has it over there. It's small, but she has it. Oh, this book. I have that. I wonder where that is. Oh, look, Ted has it. 3 whites. Oh, wow. So maybe it is a thing. Oh, look, this guy has it. 3 whites. Look, he's got it. He's got it. That's crazy. I didn't see it there. I didn't see it there, but I think that was maybe... Oh, look at this right here. 3 whites. He's got it right around the bottom. Oh my God, over here, but I don't think that was real. Let's see. That's crazy, you guys. I think I've seen enough to say, oh, Ted looks scary in that one. America's Serial. My husband bought me the serial killer coloring book. I was like, huh? Oh no, not me. He bought it for my daughter Gianna. I don't know why I just said me. I'm like in a daze over here looking at this. But he bought Gianna. She's like into coloring, and she'll, like, that's what she'll do. Like when she's if she's studying or whatever, she'll give herself breaks and stop for a few minutes and she'll color. But she's like, she like draws details in her color, like the coloring pages. So for example, she'll make like somebody wear like a plaid something when it was just like a regular, where you could have just colored it in blue type thing. So he was like, oh my God, I thought you would love this. And she's like, oh my God, I do. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what's happening right now. Like, I don't know what's worse. The fact that you saw a coloring book and was like, my 22-year-old would love this. Or the fact that my 22-year-old was like, yes. I was like, I don't know which one's worse. Talk about, and we wonder why I say that we put the fun in dysfunction. It's because that's what we do here. I don't know. You can't fix these heads, you guys. You just can't. Oh my gosh, you guys are never gonna, you want to laugh? Okay, so this is the thing. I'm going to be ending the recording in a few minutes because it's my daughter's 18th birthday in a few minutes, and I need to go up there and be extra and do the dance for her, my cheerleading dance, be all stiff and stuff, make her laugh, all the good things. And then I can't wait to see what Fiona did, because it didn't come yet though, whatever it was. So she better get her ass on the ball because it's almost midnight, you know what I mean? Anyway, unless it's there and I just didn't hear it. That's a possibility too. So this is what I'm going to do. Anybody at this point that doesn't want to stay on for my last story time, I'm going to share something funny with you guys. That is fine. I will not be offended, and I appreciate you for coming. I hope everybody subscribes, likes, and shares. I thank my mods, and I thank all of you, my members. Thank you to Cuff You. Thank you to Truth, and who else was it? Wait, no, who was it? Who was the other person that was here for a month? I'll tell you in a minute, because I'm good like that. But I want to make sure I say thank you. Travis is here. Hi, Travis. I'm so glad that you made it. I love seeing Travis here. Okay, I don't know who it was. Was it Shelly? Was it Casey? Was it Casey? Alright, well, it's going to take me forever to find it because I just couldn't find it. So, somebody let me know who it was. But thank you so much to you guys. So, if for some reason you don't want to stay for my extra little story time, I totally get it. Now would be the time that I'll see you guys soon type thing. If you want to stay for my crazy little story time, my last thing before I hang up, I'm going to show you how crazy I am. Okay, so some of you might have seen this, but like a long time ago. And probably because I don't know why, I just probably told you about it, but I'm telling you this because a few of these caught traction in the past few days, and I'm like, I never thought, like, you know when they say, like, when you put something online, it's there forever? Oh, it is. And I'm going to show you one of mine. You ready? You ready? You ready? So, let me explain. So, there's this woman, I don't know if anybody had seen her before, but wait, hold on, let me X out the things I'm not using. She calls herself Philly Mom, I think it is, and she's like getting really big around here, but she does like these parodies, like these shorts. She's right here. I'll show you guys. I'll show you real quick so that you guys get what I was doing. So this is her. She's awesome.
Mayor, you see me? I'm waving at you. Yeah, right here. Come on, we gotta get sponsors here. How's this guy doing? See? You gotta come early. You're not staying there the whole time. Sit down. Sit. There you go. That's right. Don't look.
Hi! How you doing? Long time no see.
That was nice, she said hi. It was. Stop. Enough out of you. Make sure nobody steals my purse. Here, just give it to me.
So she's talking like you would if you were from Philadelphia. Now I will say that she does a great job. She's more like Delaware Valley area, where I'm like, there's a whole other Italian Philadelphians that need to be represented. So I was like, this would be a great opportunity for me to become mayor. I was like, I could be mayor, and okay, because she always talks to Mayor, her best friend.
Oh, it's starting.
Let me just finish this. So they're watching the fireworks.
Oh,
And she's acting like that.
wow. Stop. I can't believe people are talking. So rude. Angela, how do I record? That one's my favorite. I love those. Oh.
Oh, it's echoing? The video is echoing. Is that what you said? Wait, let me see. Because I want to show you this. This is going to be funny. It's okay for you, Cuffy. So, explore cord. Maybe you have to, sometimes I have to, like, go back out. Like I just did, how it wasn't showing the picture anymore. Maybe, like, go out and come back in to see. Oh, other people could hear. Yeah, that's probably it. So, go out and come back in. But come back in, because I'm about to show you my crazy short that I did. Well, that I did a while ago. Oh, wait, why did I do that? Hold on.
Mayor, you see me?
Okay, so her name is Olivia E. Herman. She's hysterical, and she does this whole thing. So Mare is her best friend. So I created, this was a long time ago, like this isn't recent. I have 109 members. I could die right now. I was like, wait, what? Like that was not the goal for this. I literally was like joking around. I was like, if I just wrap all of my aunts into one, this is what it would be. So I only made, I think it was two videos, because I did one down the shore, and I got all of this content from that one video. I was like just being like goofy, but I downloaded the shorts like one at a time, like as far as like once every few days. I didn't do it like all at once. So let me just show you one or two of them. But anyway, the reason I'm bringing it up now is because a few of them are starting to like get a lot on other platforms, and I'm like, what in the hell is that? Oh my god, this one has 2,000 views. Are you kidding me? Why? So we go to the Wildwood a lot, and the Philly mom talks about how she goes to Wildwood. So I'm like, oh, I was in Wildwood when I watched that video that she dropped. So I'm like, okay. So this is the thing. I'm South Philly Mayor. That's what I call myself. And South Philly Mayor likes to wear sunglasses and her jewelry around her neck, okay? So that's like her thing. She likes her jewelry. So I have another one that I just found that I need to upload, and it's about jewelry on the beach. But this one here, like, I don't know if they look hilarious. Well, I'm about to play one, Birdie, so sit down and listen to this one. Grab your drink, okay? So we're crazy, right? Like with the lip liner, like take notice of all the things. The jewelry on the beach, like we do it crazy here. Here we go.
Yeah, so I leave at the beach, I come back to the pool, and there's smart asses here too. Ma, did you put your sunblock on, Ma? Ma, did you put your sunblock on? You know I put my sunblock on. Mind your friggin' business, okay? How about that one?
So the point there is that my aunts will use that Hawaiian tropic, and it's like oil. And so the point there is that, of course, I put my sunblock on. Mind your business. So, okay, let me show you another one, though. Let me show you. That wasn't one of the really fun years. Let me see. Let me see which one I could show you. Let's do. Oh, no, I did one in Ozempic. I forgot. Let's do Where's Philly Mom? Oh, this one got 1 point. Wait, what's happening? Oh, my God.
Hey. I stopped. You look fabulous.
Where'd it go?
Anyway,
There we go.
so I tried to call Philly Mom back. My friend, we went to karate. We did all the things together. Anyway, we're friends from the neighborhood. I just saw her videos and I said, Joey, little Joey, look who's on the Instagram. And I had to come in and say hello to you. So if you see me, Philly Mom, just know that your best friend there, says you're doing a great job. You look gorgeous, okay?
So that's that one. Here, I'll show you another one. I have another minute or two.
My friend.
Oh my God, you guys, stop it. I can't believe some of these are like starting to get out there. I'm dead. I'm like, what do I do? Do I take it down? And then I'm like, no, I'm not going to take it down. This is literally my aunt's. Ready for this one?
Look at her. You think she could smoke a vape? You can't smoke your vape. Get the fucking vape out of here. Put the vape somewhere else. They just had a baby. What's the matter with her?
As my cigarette.
Come on. She has a baby. I'm going to go to her house and smoke a vape in front of her baby and see if she likes it. How about that one?
I don't know why that happened. What happened? I was showing you. But did you guys not see any of the things? I'm sorry, you guys. That's annoying. I was sharing my... Did you guys see the vape one? You just subbed, Cuff You? Oh my God, I'm dead. Please. It's South Philly Mare. You saw all of them? Oh, you did see it? Good. Should I show one more? I'll show one more. If nobody's into it, you guys could just... I'll see you next time or whatever, but I'll play it for anybody that is into it. So let's do... Oh, this one I like too.
Yeah. So I leave the beach. I come back to the pool. And the smartass is here
That
too.
wasn't the one I wanted to show.
Mad at me because I took Kelly's jacket? Don't be dating Kelly from New Jersey. You won't have to worry about it. Why don't you tell Kelly? Look, you want to date my brother? You get the whole family. I said to my daughters, I said, what's the problem? I left her my shirt. I could see if I didn't leave my shirt. Okay, I'm just borrowing it. I'll bring it back. Forget.
That's literally my aunt, you guys. I can't.
She said, you can't take the green and you can't take the...
Wait, that
Look
one's...
at her.
I showed you that one. Let's see.
No. Again? Finally, some peace and quiet. Oh, stop. You look fabulous. I need everyone. I'll get down in 5 minutes. Get the frig out. I had to come back on you guys.
Wait, this happened, you guys. I'm not making fun of anybody on Ozempic. This literally happened.
On her Ozempic. I knew it. I said there's no way. This little thing. Ozempic? Friggin' cheat. Go to the gym. Stop eating. How about that one? Just put the damn food down. Put your fork down. There's no need for Ozempic. My brother, he don't give a shit. Herpes still up. No fupa. She ain't got one of them. No Ozempic that takes that shit away once you got kids. She better enjoy her body while she can.
So, my aunt, a neighbor of my aunt's, they were all outside, and I'm like, oh my God, like, these women, like, talk about all the people, like, that's normal or whatever. But I was like, what if this person needs Ozempic? Like, what if they're really, like, what if they need... I was so confused. I was like, what's happening right now? And then I'm like, you know what? Just, they're older, like, let them, whatever. And I just sat there and was like, oh my God, it was...
Anyway, so, he said...
Oh wait, what's this one?
Anyway, so, he says, Mare, we went to a cooking class together. She got me cooking classes for my birthday. I said, for your birthday? Who gets you cooking for your birthday? What's she going to teach you how to do your laundry next? Come on, Joe. Is that what you want? You're going to be in my house every other week with your clothes. You know it, too. And then he's got my son. Ma, she's good. Look how pretty she is. She's good, Ma. Look at her, Ma. What the hell?
So that one, so Joe's supposed to be her brother.
Anyway, so I tried to call Philly Mom.
All right, no, not that one. There's one that I'm...
You know.
It has to be up here, let me
Anyway,
see.
so...
There's only a few of them.
Oh, stop. You look fabulous. Finally, some peace and quiet. Let me tell you about them. They're crazy. They're crazy. My brother said he cooked tonight. What the hell is that? Stop. I can't. Shut up. Don't tell anybody that I'm smoking in the bathroom and they won't know that. I know they don't smoke. Give me 5 minutes. I want to be alone. You won't leave me alone. These kids, I can't. And then my husband on my nerves too. All night. Mayor, mayor, mayor. Can you get me this, mayor? Can you get me that, mayor? Did you make this, mayor? You gonna grab my plate, mayor? I'm done. I'm done. I've been to the Academy 4 times already today. I'm done. Don't I get a break? Don't I get a break? I'm coming. Jesus. I'll be back.
Like, that's literally how they act. It's so funny.
Again?
Oh, this one happened
Wait a
too.
minute. 3 weeks in a row, there's no way. He's cheating. They're cheating. Reading on bingo again. There's something up with that. What, you don't like my Sunday dinner? That's Rita making them on Sundays. Get the hell out of here. She won this 3 weeks in a row. It's just like this bathroom. It's got a couple more secrets than Rita and Father.
Like, there's a conspiracy.
She thinks she can smoke a vape.
Oh, wait, I showed you that one.
And she said, you can't take the girl and if you take
That's not it. Where's the one that I
mad
went?
at me because I took
No, I
Kelly's.
showed you that.
I can't believe I made it out there alive, right? Oh, the music she had on, it was all wrong. I said, Joey, what are you doing with her? She doesn't even know about Friday with Frank and Sunday with Sinatra. And you think she's going to care about what you eat? She ain't going to give a shit, Joey. She don't care. Read my lips. She don't care. You, my brother, you're going to have to work and clean and cook. What, are you going to have to breastfeed too? Is that what you want? What's wrong with these girls?
That's literally my aunts. They'll be like, James, go get his plate. I'm like, wait, what?
Thank God this one's pretty because that virtual learning did something for her brain. I don't know what it was, but he cooked my daughter dinner. Gee, I said, what, you don't have a job? She said, no, Ma, he works. So, stop. That works? He don't live with his mother. He passed virtual learning. He cooks and cleans. It's tiny little pretty head of yours.
It's probably that little pretty head of yours.
Yeah.
And that was all of them. So that was my craziness, you guys. So I figured I'd share that with you because I don't know why. Because it started going a little bit crazy earlier and I was like, what's happening? So I'm like, let me just play it because if anybody gets that on like their For You page or for any reason, I was like, I will die. So let me just explain myself first to a few people and we'll see what happens. So what did you guys think? You woke your son up laughing. I love that. Love that. Ava. Couple more minutes. 16 minutes. She's trying to keep herself awake. Don't worry. She's studying. It's putting her to sleep. Okay? Okay. Nerd. What do you have, a test tomorrow? Oh, she has an anatomy test tomorrow. She should probably study. She passed virtual learning. Oh yeah, head over to the Discord, you guys, for sure, because Cuff You. No, you're good. Cuff You does a fantastic job. I tried to say fantastic and fabulous at the same time and said failed fabulous job on the Discord. So Cuff You, you are amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you to all my mods. Don't worry, Eva, I'll be up in a few minutes to, oh, I will be up there to sing to my 18-year-old. No. Let's see. Mare's all up in her body's business. Oh, you have no idea. But the thing with the plate, like, that was real too. Like, the first time I took Ryan down South Philly, and my aunt was like feeding him and all, and then he was done, and she looked at me and went, "Are you going to get his plate?" I was like, "Wait, what?" She was like, "He's done." I was like, "Okay." She's like, you got to get his plate. Like, it's sitting there now for a few, like, I was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Aunt Jenny, he's got legs." And she literally was like, "The frig with these kids. What the frig?" And I'm dead serious. What the frig with these kids? That's all they say. And they say, "Jesus," but I don't say it. I don't like to put the two things together. I'm like a nerd like that. But that's why if you hear it on here, I go, "Jesus," and I cut it off. That way, you get the idea type thing. But that's all they say. I'm like, what is happening? Like, this is just, that's how I grew up. Everybody knows everybody's business. My aunts, like, they like know everybody's business, like all of our business. So, and that was like normal. Oh, my whole family owns like one block in South Philly. So as people got married, they made like offers to the neighbors that they couldn't refuse type thing. And now the entire family owns a house on the block, my family included. So my mom and dad rent theirs, but they own, she owns, I don't know if that's a duplex or a triplex, but she owns something right on the block too. But we're probably the only ones that don't actually live there. But my whole family lives in this on this one street in South Philly. And it is crazy. Like, I love it to death. Like, there's no other experience like it. And where we live, we have row homes. So it's like, I don't know if anybody else has row homes or if you know what that is, but it's where you'll have literally on one block, I don't know, hundreds of homes, and they're all connected. So every like 10 or so, or maybe like every six to 10, they'll call it the corner house. And if you get the corner house, it was like, oh, they got money. Like, you need to go date her daughter. She's got money. They got the corner house. And you're like, So, and then, but there's like a few corner houses on the block. So there's like 6 of them. So it's not the only corner house. Okay. But we didn't have a corner house. We were literally in the exact, like right in the middle. But you share a step with your neighbor. So it's like one big step and then the 2 doors and the houses or whatever. And then, but your house is then connected to the neighbors on either side, so on and so forth, all the way down the street. So everybody knew everybody's business just because you lived so close and because everybody was in charge. Like in Philadelphia, one thing that I do love is that they're, at least like when I was growing up, so like it was even more so, but we took pride in like where we lived. So the whole block would keep the block nice because that's what they would say. We want to keep our block nice. So as long as every block had enough people that wanted to keep the block nice, I mean, it was good. I like how I grew up. I didn't dislike it. You know, I didn't know any different, so maybe that's why I didn't dislike it. I don't know, but I think I turned out all right. Well, I put the fun in dysfunction, you know what I mean. So the point being is that in South Philly, my family, there's many of them on this block, and when we have like parties and stuff, you just go from one house to the next. And it's funny because you'll go to one house and then go to the next house, and the people at the first house were like complaining, but they'll be like, they'll complain and then be like, oh, but you know what, oh, God forbid, but I love them, God forbid, she was a bitch, but God forbid, oh God, please, oh. And they're like dead serious. The touch the wood, touch that wood, oh please, oh God forbid, touch the wood. And they're always, I'm like, what are you doing? It's never like Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. It's always, I'm like, are we at the ball game? Like, what's happening right now? It's literally crazy. My uncle, I think I might have told you this one, he gave my husband his drink and was like, hold on to the sun. When we, like, the first time I took him down to meet everybody, I was mortified. And so my husband held his drink, and then my other uncle, like, jumped down and, like, smacked him in the back of the head. Another uncle, like, jumped into him. And the whole point was, at the end, he didn't spill any of the drink, so he, like, passed that test. I was like, oh, this is going to be a horrible night. And by the time it ended, I don't even know how many tests that poor man went through, but Dad looked at me and was like, should I be worried? I was like, about what? And he's like, your uncle, he's like, more than one of your uncles asked me what size my shoes were. He's like, so finally I asked your dad why, and he said, because, he said, oh, that's nothing. They just want to know in case they have to make you cement shoes. And I was like, they did not do the cement shoes. And he's like, they did. I was like, oh no. He's like, did they mean like I'd sleep with the fishes? I was like, yeah, that's what they meant. Like, I was like, he's never coming back. I told my dad, I was like, that's hard. Like, he's never going to come back. So forget that. I was like, you guys got him. You got him out if that's what you wanted. It worked. I was like, but he came back. And he's still here. He thought it was funny. Your whole family lives within 2 square miles. Isn't that cool though? Because you have everybody really close. I like having everybody close. We're the one family, we moved like 20 minutes away. It's 20 minutes, that's nothing. But in Philadelphia, that's like on the other side of the city. But it's funny because my cousins will say to me, they'll be like, when you coming to Philly? I'm like, cuz I live in Philly. Like, what are you talking about? And they'll be like, you know what I mean? Like, when you coming to Philly? I'm like, you mean South Philly? And so they think like South Philly is all Philadelphia. It's just crazy. Anyway, you guys, I have 9 minutes before my baby is 18. In 9 minutes, I will no longer have a minor child. I'll have 2 adult children, an 18 and a 22-year-old. Menopause, that's what it is. That's what I have to look forward to next. What the frig, as my aunts would say. Oh. But anyway, you guys, tomorrow is Ava's birthday, and she wants to do hibachi. So I'm taking 8 of us to hibachi. That's going to cost a lot. I was like, hang on. I was like trying to do the math. I'm like, we're up like, I don't know. I stopped after like almost 300. I was like, this is going to be crazy. But then Saturday, she was like, can I have people over or whatever? I'm like, sure. But then I'm like, oh, wait. Now I have to like figure out what they're all going to eat and drink and do. And we're getting 18 to 23 inches that night. Like, what's happening? So, point being, I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to fit in my next live. However, I did talk to Cuffy earlier, and I am going to try to do a better job at maybe scheduling at least some lives, even if I do like decide to jump on here or there. But that way, people at least have some idea of when I'm going to be coming on. So I am going to try to do a better job of that. But I can't even start doing a better job of that until after this weekend because of all of the activities. I'm not sure when I'm going to get to jump on, but I will jump on. So make sure you are subscribed and you have your notifications on so that you get my notification. And thank you to my mods. Thank you for the few new subscribers that said you subscribed during the live. Again, this channel is nothing without all of us, so I appreciate that. If you have any hypes left for the week and you want to hook a girl up, I appreciate you. Always leave comments afterwards. I literally respond to every comment. Sarah spam commented me the other day on every single video, and she was like writing on some of them. It would say like, hopefully you'll respond to this in 2026. I was like, girl, sit down, because you know that I damn well respond to every comment. And I did. I was like, relax. I was like, you wrote that 24 hours ago, okay? And I responded. So I responded. If I responded to every one of them, and she was doing it to like to mess with me or whatever. So it was like all in good fun. But I still read every comment and responded. So I will respond to your comments as well. So please do comment. I usually heart the comment, which just lets me know that I read the comment and responded to it. So if I heart one of your comments and it like really wasn't something that you'd be like, why'd you love that? It's probably I did that so that I know that I responded to it and I read it. But anyway, oh my God, Cuff you, did you put South Philly Mayor up there? Oh, I'm dead, stop. So anyway, I don't know. If I might do a few of the South Philly mayors. A few more. I had some people like texting me and they were like, I was like, wait, what? Like you found that? What? So I don't know. I think something's happening with it. I don't know. Anyway, I love you guys and I'm going to go get ready. I have 6 minutes left and I have to go be so extra and do the best of my dancing. My cheer dance. And I love you all and I thank you all and you have a beautiful night and happy birthday to, was it Heather's daughter? 13th birthday? That is a huge birthday. You now have a teenager. Fun years. I still have a teenager, so we're still good. She's still 18, so I still have another, even next year I'll be all right. So we're still good. We still got a teenager, but she's almost out of high school. Bananas. All right, I love you guys. Thank you to my mods, and thank you for everybody being here. I'm down to 5 minutes. I'm going to go up there. I love you all, and I will see you all hopefully tomorrow. Okay? Good night, you guys. Thank you so much for joining. I have no words for how appreciative I am. So thank you.